Welcome back for another episode of Branching Out with Sierra. Today we're on episode 10, Energize Your Leadership, Building Stamina in the Gym and in the Office with Jess Gordon. So in today's episode, we're going to focus on integrating fitness with leadership and its impact both on you personally and professionally, and how important it is to take care of your body outside of the workplace in order to be more effective in all that you do. So before I introduce you to Jess over here, I want to share a little bit about her background. So today I am introducing Jess Gordon, a dynamic leader both in our community and in the fitness world. She's originally from Front Royal, Virginia, and now resides here in Winchester, where she works full-time as an insurance agent at TWG Insurance. You might recall hearing that on Mark Kelly's episode. However, her true passion lies in fitness, a journey that really began out of personal tragedy and transformed into a source of strength and inspiration for her. Together with her husband, Jared Gordon, she owns and operates 540 Fitness, a local gym where the focus is not just on physical training, but truly on holistic wellness. Jessica's commitment to fitness is deeply personal, which we'll get the opportunity to learn a little bit more about today. And her mission is powerful yet very simple: to help others fall in love with fitness and, by extension, then fall in love with themselves. Her story is truly a testament to the transformative power of self-care, and it makes her an inspiring figure in the world of health and leadership. So thank you so much for being with me today, Jess. I'm very excited to dig into this today. I know you're very passionate about what you do, and it'll shine through in our conversation today. So as a listener to my podcast, you know the very first question, no matter who's sitting here with me, is all about when you first identified as a leader. Yes. Do you remember that moment?
Nope. And
Really?
I searched the Rolodex. I said, when did I, and I think the thing is, I would just be, I'm going to be very honest this whole time.
Yes.
Probably to a fault, is that I don't always see myself as a leader. And I think that that's part of the thing, that I don't really have that moment that I identified as a leader, because I don't see myself as one. But I do remember the moments. There's two moments that I made the choice to lead.
Okay.
And I do remember those. So I can give you those.
I would love to hear that, but we're still going to unpack the other piece a little bit in a minute.
Yes. You love to unpack things together, and I do love that. But I remember making the choice to lead when the gym that I was originally a member of shut down unexpectedly, and then my husband and I made a very good and solid choice to open up our own gym because our community needed us. We felt that they needed us, and we wanted to deliver for them. And that was my favorite choice of all time. And also when my predecessor, Angie, retired at TWG, I remember going to her office. It was a couple of days after she announced her retirement. And I sat down and I said, I have to tell you something. And she said, what? And she looked a little sad, and I think she thought I was quitting. And I said, I want your job. And she was like, I'm really happy to hear that. And but it was, moments where I felt confident enough to say that I wanted to lead, which is not something that I typically feel, and I think it's growing. I've been growing into leadership, which I think can also be part of it.
Yeah, and I've seen that. You participated in a leadership academy, and I was able to see that transformation as well. And I know when you first walked into that room that very first day, I know you would have said at that point that you weren't a leader. But based on listening to other episodes and hearing different perspectives on the definition of leadership, how would you define leadership today? Has that changed at all?
So I think that there's different types of leadership, and I think that that's part of the problem. I think that not the problem. I think that that's part of the reason that I have trouble identifying it, is because there are so many types of leaders. If I were to identify myself as a leader, I would identify myself as an influential leader. I like to pull people in. I like to find the person in the room who is likely not going to like me very much and make them my best friend. And I want to love them forever. And I want everyone, I care a lot about community. I care a lot about togetherness. I don't want anyone to ever feel excluded at any point. That is my worst nightmare, because I've been excluded and I know how bad that hurts. And So if I am a leader at any capacity, which I am a leader. I need to say that with confidence. I am a leader in many aspects. I am an influential leader. I am the leader who wants to take everyone under my wing. I want to lead by example. I want to lift my community up with me. And I know that when my team rises, whether that be my team at TWG or my team at 540, when they rise, I rise, and I know that, and that's how I choose to lead, and I guess that's how I would. Those are the times I identify myself as a leader. Is when they're coming up, I know that I'm doing my job.
But I feel like that naturally happens when people are in your presence.
I
Whether
don't
you're
know about
intentionally
that.
doing it or not, I'm telling you right now that if I were to survey the people around you on a regular basis, there's not one person that could deny the impact that you've had on their lives, and you are always raising people up.
Well,
So,
that's the goal. That is
Yes.
the goal. That is honestly
There you
my
go.
goal is to really try to raise people up and make people feel that they can handle this life, because it's hard, sister.
Yes.
Hard things happen, and you got to find friendly faces, and you got to find friendly people and people that want to be on your side.
Yeah.
And I want to be on everyone's side.
I know you do. And I love how you said, if there's someone that doesn't like me, you want to make them like you. Well, I can't see why anyone wouldn't like you.
You could find some.
Just saying, it's the energy that you bring to the space. I actually said before we got here to Matthew, I said, she's going to bring a lot of energy, and I'm going to have to match that energy today.
No.
Yes, you bring
But that's
a
what I
lot
like
of
about
positive
this.
energy. Yeah.
Tell
me what you like about it, Jess.
We are so different, Sierra and I, guys. You guys, but it's something that I have identified, because Sierra is actually the kind of person that I am very drawn to. The people that are if you meet my best friends, the people that are in my inner circle, my husband, and the people that are very black and white, cut and dry, very technical, very high D or C if you're a disc kind of person.
Yeah.
That those are my kind of people, because they have what I lack, and I feel like they kind of balance me out. And people, I love talking with you, because I feel like you check me, you bring me back in, and I feel like I can also take people like you or my husband, and I can kind of float you out.
Yes.
And I'm like, let's go for a float.
Yes. It does balance out. It can be the most challenging of relationships to be around someone who's the exact opposite, but at the same time, you bring out the best in one another.
Yes.
and truly balance it out. So, no, I think that's awesome. I'm so glad that I think I heard you say you identified as a leader by the end of that. I'm pretty sure that was woven in there somewhere. Now I have it on recording, so we can play it back as a reminder on a regular basis.
I got to be careful what I say here.
You are a leader. Okay, so we talked about that lack of a specific moment, but it was like the moment that you made a decision. So it wasn't, I am identifying as a leader right now, but I'm choosing to intentionally lead right now. I want to talk about the fitness side of that. Okay, so there were two examples you gave. One was on the insurance side and one was on the fitness side. And I have been dying to hear more about your journey to where you are and your love and passion for fitness. Kind of what brought you there. And I don't know that you've ever shared this story with me. So I've been looking forward to this episode to hear exactly how it came about. So take us down that path, bring us to where we are today, and help us to understand kind of what shaped your mission at 540.
Okay. Do you want me to take you all the way back?
I want to go all the way.
Girl, I'll take you all the way. So it started in 1992. No, I'm just kidding. It really started in 2013 is when I met my late husband, Joe. He was my best friend. He was actually very similar to my personality. Super bubbly, super outgoing. He was such a jokester, such a prankster, just, so goofy and funny. And we had a very normal life, incredibly normal. We had built a house. We had a little puppy, a Great Dane, my doggy Storm. If you know me, you know I love my doggy Storm. And we were together for 2 years before we got married in December of 2015.
Okay.
And in that time period, we were very happy. I put on, you get married and you're just like every other American family. You put on a little happy weight. Mm-hmm. We both put on our happy weight because we were comfortable. And I'm not going to tell anyone that I was like miserable and eating myself into detriment, because I wasn't. I was not unhappy. We were incredibly happy. And I put on probably 30-ish 40-ish pounds
Okay.
of happy weight. And we on a Sunday morning, it was October 29th of 2016. I believe that was a Sunday. My late husband had a massive heart attack in our living room. I was there. I was making breakfast in the kitchen. And I'm sorry if I get sad.
No,
you would think as many times as I've told this story that I would have it together by now.
No.
But it just, it takes you right back, and I was making breakfast, and he said he didn't feel well. And I was just like, oh, like, do you need Advil? Like, what do you need, And then I thought it was a seizure because I've never seen anyone have a heart attack. Like, you only see that on TV, and they, like, grab their chest, and, like, it wasn't like that at all. And my friend at the time, Mary, was there, and I yelled for her because she was living with us because she needed a place to stay. So she was living with us temporarily. And she came out and called 911, and you've never waited longer for an ambulance in your entire life.
I'm sure I tell you. Forever.
Oh my gosh. And God bless those people, though, because those ambulance people, our first responders, are angels, and they showed up, and the gentleman tried to calm me down. And there was not much calming me down at that point. We followed the ambulance to the hospital, and they told me that, he was gone, and his sister was with me. And that is something that I will never, because we called his sister right away, and his sister met us there. And it was, it's every bit as, I was 23. I was not equipped to be handling any of this, right? So I had to very quickly figure out how to move forward. And I went back to work immediately. I tried to just go back to normal, and then you realize that normal no longer exists. And I was beyond depressed. I started filling my life with anything that would give me even just the slightest little hit of dopamine, whatever that. And it turns out those were things that were not good for me.
Yeah.
I started abusing substances. I started going out. I started hanging out with really bad people. I started doing things that, because I didn't care. I ended up, I didn't care about my body. I didn't care about myself. I had no idea how to move forward. No one gave you the handbook for what happens when your husband dies at 23. No one tells you what to do. And God bless everyone around me. They were trying to love me in the best way they could, but also they didn't want to push me too hard. When someone is experiencing these things, the worst thing that they thought they could do was push me too hard or tell me what I was doing was wrong, because they didn't want to push me away. They didn't want to lose me. They didn't want to. So a lot of people just let me do my nonsense. And,
trying to love on you while you were doing it.
Yes, of course. And I love them for that. My best friend Audrey, who I've been best friends since second grade, I think she's probably the only one who was like, what are you doing? Like, what fraction of your brain have you lost? And I'm like, well, all of it. and even my other friend at the time, she stopped speaking to me because she was like, I can't handle, her exact words to me were, I can't handle your depression. Wow. And I don't blame her. That's not a knock on her, because I couldn't handle my depression. If I'm telling you the truth, I couldn't handle it. I was not equipped to do it. So I went down that really dark spiral for a long time. And then I lost my house because my husband was the primary breadwinner. I lost my house. I lost everything except my dog. I kept my dog. And I moved in with my parents, because my parents are great people and they support me no matter what. And they were like, bring your nonsense self over here. And they knew I was in pretty bad shape, though, I think. And I remember walking with my mom one evening, and I just said, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to make it through this. I was like, I don't know how. And I was like, I need to do something. I need to do something really big. And I was going to join the Peace Corps. That was my plan. I was going, because I was like, I need to go. I need to do something. And I couldn't leave my dog, though, which just sounds silly, but she was all I had left.
Doesn't sound silly at all.
Yeah, she was. We got stormed together. Oh, sorry. We got stormed together, and I couldn't let her go. And I was like, and I couldn't just leave her with my parents. That wasn't right either. So I was like, okay, I have to do something here. I have to figure out what I can do here. And I went to therapy. I found an excellent therapist. And at this point, I had lost quite a bit of weight, by the way, because it's when you're drinking and not eating and you're out partying and just trying to do madness. I had gone from probably like 185 to about 120, like pretty quickly in the span of about 8 to 9 months. And so anyway, I found a therapist, and my therapist, she's an angel. She said, have you ever tried, like physical fitness to help with your anxiety? And because I was experiencing a lot of anxiety, I was having nightmares, I was experiencing a lot of anxiety and a lot of pressure. And I was like, nope, never tried it. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what to do. I did not know the first thing about taking care of my body. I had never really exercised. I didn't do sports. I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, okay, let's get started with running. That felt easy. Like I could just put on shoes and run. That felt fine. So I started doing that, and I started running. I worked at a yoga studio for a few years. I started doing yoga. I went vegan for a few years. I went vegetarian for a few years. Mind you, I did all this while I was still smoking cigarettes, so don't ask me what I was doing. But I was trying.
Yes.
I did. I tried. I was like, I knew I needed to get better because I spent about a year in a really bad place, and I knew I needed to get out of that bad place. So I just tried. And I think that step one is just, I was just that desperate plea to my mother where I was just like, I need help. And so we did this. And so I did running and yoga for a few years. Or no, probably about a year. Sorry. Probably about a year. And I ran, I had a lot of great times in that. I ran the half marathon at Disney. I did some really fun things. But I didn't feel how I thought I was supposed to. I thought I was supposed to feel like strong and like good. I didn't feel that. And on those runs by myself, I worked through a lot of things, but it was also really easy for me to go to a really dark place because I was on these runs by myself for miles and miles and miles and miles. And it was just me and myself. And I didn't like myself very much at that time, Sierra. So spending that much time alone was not very cool. So I was like, all right, you got to figure this out. So I was watching TV one night, and I saw these girls lifting weights and doing all this crazy fitness, and they all looked together and happy and like really strong. And I was like, well, what is this? And it was CrossFit. It was the CrossFit Games. And I was like, well, all right, let's do that. So I literally just Googled CrossFit gyms in my area. I picked the first one that came up. It was near my work in Winchester. So I was living in Front Royal. It was a gym in Winchester. I walked into that gym probably 115 pounds because when you're running and you're a vegetarian and you're doing nothing, you just lose weight like a crazy person. And I thought that that's what healthy was. Skinny was healthy. Skinny is healthy. That's because I didn't know any better. And I was just trying to take care of my body because I just watched my husband die. So I was like, what do I do? The thought process was tough. I was really trying to hone it in. So anyway, I went to this gym. And I was like, well, we're going to try this. And I fell in love. The first workout it beat my butt. It was so hard. I couldn't lift a barbell. I couldn't hang on a rig. I couldn't do anything. And I just fell in love with not being able to do anything. And I just saw these women around me, and men too. It was everybody who were just strong and confident, and they cheered for me, and they cared about me, and they didn't know, and they didn't care about me because they knew I was a new widow. They didn't know. They had no idea what had happened to me. It wasn't a pity thing because I was getting a lot of that back. A lot of people were treating me very gingerly because they felt bad for me, which obviously I would feel bad for me too. I still do, but no. But it was really refreshing to be in a room full of people that they didn't know me. They didn't know what had just happened to me, and they still liked me, and they were still cheering for me, and they still wanted to see me do a good job. And I was addicted ever since. I never stopped going. And I ended up about a year later. So I did CrossFit every day for a year. basically. Loved it, made a lot of strength gains, really changed my health. I really honed in my diet. I had some help from a nutritionist, and I really honed in my diet and started feeling better. And honestly, it really started helping my mental health. I still was seeing my therapist. I didn't stop seeing my therapist. And she noticed a huge difference in me. She was like, wow, this is really good for you. She was like, you really, whatever you're doing, you need to keep doing it. And I was like, okay, great. Let's do that. So I was doing CrossFit for about a year. And there was a head coach there who was super sweet and really kind of like just a shy guy and very good looking.
I feel like I know where this is going.
Do you know where this is going? He was, and neither of us were really, he was very shy and introverted and didn't really date or do anything. I was going to die alone. That was my plan.
Okay.
I was done because lightning doesn't strike twice. You don't, do you know people go through this world and they don't get one terrific love story? Yeah. Who am I to get two? I don't deserve that. And I know I don't deserve that. Most people are lovely people and they don't get one. So I was never going to date again. I was going to be by myself, me and my dog, and I was going to live in my parents' basement forever. My mom was totally cool with this idea. and my dad, but no, it was, so we started talking, me and this fellow, and it was right after one of our big, huge events that we throw that he asked me to go to the movies. So we went to the movies, and this fellow happens to be Jared Gordon, and he's love at first sight. I mean, really, or I guess after a year. But after we let our barrier go, I'm so lucky. Like, I don't know who gets to do this twice. Who gets to do this twice? But anyway, I'm going to try to speed it up.
No, you don't need to at all.
Sorry.
You're doing a wonderful job.
And so we both love fitness. I tried to scare him away like nobody's business, just so you know. I said, sir, do you know that I am a widow? I am broke as a joke because I lost every penny to medical bills when my husband died. He didn't have life insurance. We'll get to the insurance bit later.
Oh, insurance.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later. You all need life insurance. He didn't have life insurance. I lost everything. I was trauma central. I was really broken. I had just stopped drinking. I had just stopped abusing substances. I was just learning to love myself and to take care of myself. And I told him all of this. And I remember very clearly being like, listen, like, I really like you. You seem really nice and very like mature and put together, but I am a wreck. And he was like, no, you're not. You're fine. He was like, I'm okay. I can handle this. And we've been together ever since. Ever since. And he's my favorite human. I love that man more than anything. He balances me so well. And anywho, we both love fitness. And he was the head coach there. And I was actually going to be a coach there. And Jared's accolades are long and drawn out. He has so many certifications. He knows so much stuff. And to learn under him was a huge privilege. But it never really quite worked at that facility. So something happened. And I worked out at that gym for about 6 years.
Oh, okay.
5 or 6 years. So we were there for a long time, him and I. He was the head coach. I went there. Everyone knew us. We were very much a part of that community, both of us. Him as a leader in that community, and me as an athlete. And a lot of people, really enjoyed us, knew us. And then it turns out that gym closed down very quickly and unexpectedly. We had about a day's notice of when that gym was closing. And Jared and I had previously, before that gym closed, had talked about opening our own because it just felt right. Like it just felt, we felt drawn to do it because Jared is such a great leader and such a great person and really cares about people, and he has so much knowledge to share with people that it felt like the right thing. We always joke that he's the head and I'm the heart. And that's how our business works, is he's the head and I'm the heart. And the decision got made for us, but I'm so grateful for it. Oh my God. Like, my gratitude for that situation is out of control because neither of us have much of an ego, in that not having an ego can sometimes mean that we're not super confident in making decisions. So the fact that the decision got made for us, we made the choice.
A lot easier.
Yes, we made the choice. That was the moment that we made the choice and said, all right, well, we're going to do it. And let me tell you, Sierra, the second we made that choice, it was like the stars aligned and the world opened up and God was like, here you go. Here it is. In the building that we're in on Welltown, it appeared, it wasn't listed. We found it on like a Facebook ad by some random person answering my Facebook ad and saying, hey, we have a building for you. Turns out that the owner of that building was also a CrossFitter, knew what we did, knew of us, knew who we were, and wanted to help us.
Oh, wow.
How does that even happen?
Well, because it was supposed to.
Yes. And I was like, and I mean, everything just... So anyway, our gym closed down in our first gym closed down in January of 2024, and
that's this year.
Yeah,
everybody.
Hi, that's the one that we're in right now. Well, depending on when you're listening, I don't know. This could be a time capsule, but yes, it's in January of 2024, and we opened 540 Fitness in March of 2024. Tell me about a quick time.
Insane. I am amazed by that because I was watching you during that time through the Leadership Academy and
poor Sierra.
the changes that were happening in your life all at once. It was such a scary time for you, but so exciting to watch how it all came together.
We tell everyone that I was in class one time. I was in class with Sierra, right? Everyone, and she. You asked me the most innocent question. I don't even remember what it was now.
I don't remember
but it was so innocent. Like, it was nothing hard hitting. And I just started bawling.
Yeah.
Because I was under so much stress. And you were like, okay, never mind. Forget I asked. It's okay. And I just couldn't stop crying. And because it was just so much, that part really stressed me out. Because I knew that I had a whole community of people that were looking at Jared and I going, now what, Mom and Dad? Mm-hmm. And I love these people. That's a lot
of pressure.
These people are my people. And I was like, we're going to deliver for them no matter what. And they helped us. My community, my 540 family, they showed up. And no matter what we needed, they showed up and they did it. So really, people say that Jared and I did it, but we wouldn't have done it without them. So, I mean, my life has had a lot of twists and turns and ups and downs, but I find beauty and happiness in all of it. Like, I wouldn't, if a genie popped up right now and said, hey, I'm going to take you all the way back to 2013, the day that you met Joe, and you can walk away and none of this will happen to you. You won't have that tragedy. You won't have that heartbreak, or you can go through it all again. I would do it again in a minute.
I love that for you.
Yeah.
And I have to comment on that because so many people, when we talk about my Lyme disease, will bring up to me like, oh, that's awful. I can't believe that happened to you. That must be so terrible. And I say the same exact thing of, but it led to this. Had it not happened, I would not have my business today. I would not be on this podcast with you right now. You and I probably would have never met. Right?
Which would have been tragic.
Yes. Exactly. So yeah, I completely understand that perspective. I'm curious about the name. Why 540?
Well, it was actually Jared had his own programming company called 540 Performance already. Okay. And because he's an expert in his field, I have no other way to put it. Jared is an expert in the field of fitness. He is the smartest man that I've ever met. And I shouldn't put that in recording. Sorry. Don't listen to that, honey. But
this is going to be used against
you later.
Darn
it is. But he is. I mean, truly. His brain just works in a way. He was a teacher. He was an algebra teacher before he joined fitness. So his brain just works in a way that mine does not. Numbers just go for him. But anyway, so he had a programming company, and he still does, called 540 Performance, where he does programming for athletes all over the world. He has athletes, I think, in Switzerland and South America. He has athletes everywhere in the U.S. And we just wanted to branch off of that because that was already such a well-known thing in some communities that we wanted to branch off of that. So I said, well, let's name it 540 Fitness because I'm very proud of his brand. And also we wanted to name it, and we named it 540 for performance too, is because this is our home. The 540 area is our home.
This
is where we live. This is where...
That's the area code for those of you
sorry.
that don't know.
yes, 540 is our area code. And this is our home. So it's not, this isn't, 540 Fitness isn't some boutique place that you can get just anywhere. We're not a franchise. We're not good. You're not going to find us anywhere. We're homegrown. We're local people. We're this is our family, you know. It's very important to us that people know that. We're a small business and we're proud of it.
As you should be. It was amazing to see, just even on social media, the community come together and you guys posting pictures of, working on the building, getting it ready to move in, and everybody jumping in to support you. Like, just that in itself was really cool to watch, and is a reminder of this amazing community we live in.
Oh my God. I could ask our community for anything, and I always had a hard time asking for help. And they really taught me how to ask for help. And it wasn't that I felt they wanted to. Does that make sense? Like, I felt like not asking them for help was almost a disservice to them too, because they wanted to be included. They lost something the day that gym closed. And I don't care what anyone says. If you've never been a part of a group fitness community like that, you have to think of it in the aspect that we only have so many hours in a day. We are all working adults. And for most of us who went there, we chose to spend an hour of our day every day in that place with those people.
It's your family.
That's huge, right? And we chose that repeatedly. And we saw these people on repeat. And then all of a sudden, that was gone. Anyone who says that that's not detrimental to your mental health doesn't understand it. And that's okay if you don't understand it. But to take it as lightly as we lost our gym was not one thing. We lost our family. We lost our community. We lost a linchpin in our lives. And a lot of us, it was very hard. And Jared and I made a big effort to do community things while we were closed. We did a ruck. We did a group ruck. We got all of our friends together and we went for a hike. We did a workout down at John Hanley High School. We got everyone together and did a workout on the field because no one can look at me and hear my story and tell me. I won't believe them if they tell you, if anyone tells me that mental health and group fitness is not going to change people's lives. It changed my life.
Yeah.
So anyone who looks at me and says, oh, it's just a gym, it's just a workout, I'm like, you don't know what happened to me.
That word just.
You have no idea what it did for me.
Yeah.
It drug me out of the deepest pits of depression. It gave me purpose. It gave me friendship. It gave me community. It gave me my husband. So for anyone to say that it's just anything, I'm like, wow, you're missing out.
Yeah, we need to get them involved for sure. So obviously that fitness regimen for you is an important part of everyday life at this point. How would you say it has, like you just said, it pulled you out of that, right? But how has it now contributed to ongoing benefits for you, and how has it impacted your work life as well? Because this is the crazy thing, as passionate as you are about it, and you are the co-owner, you have a full-time job.
Yes, that I love. I love my job.
That you love, yes, and you are a leader within that insurance agency. So tell me how this ongoing fitness regimen is impacting your professional performance.
Right. So I am known as the fitness lady in the office. Everyone knows me as that.
Just in the office or the entire community?
In my world.
Come on.
And, but I'm proud of that.
Yes.
And it's fitness has taught me something, because when I walked in the door the very first time, I was not good. I was very bad. Fitness taught me how to fail. It taught me how to fail forward. And you're going to go in, and if you're going to get good at anything, you're going to be really bad at it for a while. And I mean like miserably bad. But you have to find joy in that process. And it taught me how to, even in the hard parts of whether that be at work, anywhere, is when you're in the trials and you're in the tribulations, that's where it matters. That's where you're putting in the work. That's where you're ticking off the time. And who you are in those moments, that is your character. It's not who you are when everything's going hunky-dory and everything's great. It's who you are when it's hard. And insurance right now is hard. We're having a really hard time. And any of my coworkers listening to this will have a nice chuckle at that, because they know it's tough. And it's how we show up as TWG Insurance. and I tell my team this, it's how we show up when it's hard. And they all know that I show that. I try to show that. I try to show up when it's hard. I try to show up positive. I try to show up happy even when it's hard. And that's something that I learned in the gym that I take outside of the gym into everyday life. And just know that if you're failing, good. You should be failing. If you're not failing, you're not trying. And it's fail forward.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense. And I think it's a great mindset to have. Because so many people are afraid of failure, but you've switched that and you've said, if you're not failing, you're not trying. It's quite the opposite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not, if our team should be growing, and you don't want any easy mistakes or anything like that, but if we're not pushing the envelope and we're not putting ourselves out there and we're not working for that next great solution, if we're not working to go the extra mile and to do those things, then who's going to do it?
It's so true. So tapping into the, I want to go insurance and then I want to go back to fitness. I keep wanting to bounce back and forth, but tapping into the insurance challenges right now. Do you mind commenting on that?
Oh, yes. So insurance rates are up,
that?
Everybody. I don't know if you guys have gotten your renewal, but insurance rates are up. And that is due to catastrophic losses that are happening. Lots of wildfires. Inflation is happening. Car parts are hard to get. I mean, you name it, it's happening. It's hard to rebuild a house. Everything's happening. So we're having people that are on a fixed income call us and say, I can't afford this. And in that moment, we have to try to help them. And that doesn't mean we can always get their rates down, because that's not always possible. We have to meet them with empathy, and we have to meet them with love, and we have to try to love them through it. And on the other side of that, we work with companies that have underwriting guidelines that are tightening up because they're in a situation where the insurance company needs to make money.
Yeah,
that's
what they're there for.
Point blank period. If this is a surprise to anybody, I'm super sorry. But they're there to make money, and they're not right now. So underwriting guidelines need to tighten up and premiums need to go up. And that puts us, the agent. So I work for an independent insurance agency. TWG Insurance is where I work. We're an independent insurance agency. My job as an independent agent is to work for the company. I do work for the company. That's made very clear to us. I work for multiple companies. But I advocate for my clients. So I'm really the middleman, and it's my job to make everybody happy. And which is, if anyone should have that job, I think it's me, to be quite honest.
Yes.
I think if anyone should do that, it's me.
I think so too.
And and that's what we're trying to do is, the insurance industry is kind of a wreck right now. It's in personal lines. It's just kind of where we are. They're calling it a hard market. And I'm trying to really keep my team's morale up and tell them, like, hey, I know where we are. We're not going to say that everything's okay, because it's not, but it's just like I said earlier, it's how we show up right now that proves who we are. Mm-hmm. It's not how we show up when we're in an easy market. Anyone can sell insurance and be a good customer service support person in an easy market. It's easy to tell you that your insurance went down. I could have that conversation all day.
Yeah.
It's when you have a 50% increase that I need to really come to you and be able to be empathetic and pull that out of us. And it is hard. And that's why I need fitness.
That's why, that's why the two fit together so nicely. But I feel like I also need to go back to what you said about life insurance and the importance of that. Do you want to comment on that?
Yes.
Let's make sure this is your opportunity to tell
Lexi's
everyone.
Going to be really proud of me right now. So yes, everyone should have life insurance. So when my late husband passed, he did not have any life insurance. It was something that we were going to get around to. We were married for less than a year. Mm-hmm. And it was something that it was on the list, as many things are. Mm-hmm. But we were young and we were relatively healthy. We were both overweight. I think that that's really important to note, that plays into my fitness journey. Absolutely. We were both overweight and we ate a lot of pizza and a lot of fried food. Joe loved his food. But we were not by any means going to die. I mean, to be morbid about it, I'm sorry, but we weren't going to. We were young and we were not going to die, and that was going to be a later us problem. Turns out, you don't get to control that. You have no control over any of this. You can do your best, which is what I'm trying to do now, to preserve my health and to take care of my body, because it was a very rude awakening for me. I only get one of these. Yeah. and I have to love it and I have to take care of it. I spent a lot of time not loving it and not taking care of it, and I'm making up for that now. But I love my family. I love my husband. I love my nieces and my nephew. I love my gym. And so I have it written out that if something happens to me that's outside of my control, that there's money there to make sure that these people are taken care of, because I didn't have that. I lost my house. I lost everything. I mean, we had just built a house. We built it from scratch. It was beautiful. I lost literally everything. And it was, you don't even know what that does until it happens. And then you're like, oh my God, I don't have anywhere to live. I don't have, because I was drowning in medical bills. What they don't tell you is it's really expensive to die. That ambulance that picked us up and took us, that was like a few $1,000s. And you have to understand the rage that I felt when I get a bill in the mail for the services provided. And I'm like, you didn't do it. He died. So, and like, you can't rationalize this to me. So I also, I went into really big debt, and it took me a long time to dig out of that. It was part of my spiral. I just couldn't, I was responsible for everything, because when you marry somebody, you take on responsibility for all of that. Luckily, you know, my parents helped me out a little bit as they could, but we're not a super wealthy family, you know, so they couldn't do that much for me. So when Jared and I got married, before we would get married, I told him we are getting life insurance policies on each other. He has one on me, I have one on him. And I said, that is how we are going to protect each other, because I can't do this again.
Yeah.
And I hope, obviously, we do not ever want this to happen again,
Yeah.
but you don't have any control over this. And that's the scary part. And the only thing that I do have control over is putting that policy in place and making sure that we are both taken care of. So I feel very confident that if something happened to me, that I would not put him in that same situation. He would get to keep his house. Good.
Yeah.
He deserves that.
That's important. So can you help people to understand, people that have never had a life insurance policy, like, how expensive are we talking here? How does it fit into the monthly budget? Because I think it's extremely affordable for what it covers.
Yes. So there are countless options. I can tell you, for my policy, I pay $20 a month. $20 a month for peace of mind, knowing that if something happened to me, that my whole family is taken care of. And I have it written out exactly where the money goes, and I feel really good about that.
Yeah. So extremely affordable.
Yes. And there's so many options. I mean, if you want something, if you want term, if you want permanent, if you want long-term care, there are options to put on an insurance policy that if something happens to you and you need long-term care, you can get that. You can get that out of your life insurance. And because what if you're in an accident and you don't pass away, but you need help for the rest of your life because something has happened to you? Yeah. That's expensive. Sounds real expensive to me. So that's something, that peace of mind, that after everything happened to me, security meant a lot to me. Stability meant a lot to me, because my life was so unstable for so many years there in the middle that I needed stability. It's kind of what brought me to insurance.
That's what I wanted to know. That was actually my next question. Perfect segue. Is that the situation that kind of led to your interest in moving into an insurance role?
Right. So I lost my job when COVID hit, my original job. I worked for a company that I really adored. I worked for Tessa. You might know them.
Oh,
Charles Daniels.
Tableware Solutions.
Yes.
That's what I think in my head.
Yes. And really great people.
Yes.
I worked there for 5 years. I have a wonderful relationship with them. And when COVID hit, obviously it hit the industry of tableware and parties like really bad. And when my manager called me to let me go, she was crying. It was hard for everyone. So not saying anything bad about them. They're wonderful people, but I lost my job because COVID was terrible. I have all of this energy. I'm a very enthusiastic person.
What? Yeah. Hadn't picked up on it.
I love humans more than I love anything, except for maybe dogs. But I just adore people with a passion that you do not understand. So COVID put me in a bad spot too, because being at home by myself, and I mean, COVID put a lot of people in a bad spot. I'm not trying to compare grief. But I can tell you, for me personally, I was in a really bad place. And I think that my gym community sensed this, my gym friends, because I was at my previous gym at the time, during the COVID, and they sensed it. And one of my good friends at the time was like, hey, I think my husband's company is hiring. Would you like to put in an application? And I was like, you have no idea how bad I would like to put in an application. And I never did insurance a day in my life. I didn't know the first, second, or third thing about insurance, never read my own policy. And all I just remember saying is, I just want to help people and I just want to be around people. I will learn whatever you have to teach me. And I felt really good about going into that job for the stability factor too, because they didn't close down when COVID happened. And I needed that. I needed stability. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I woke up and said, oh my God, I want to do insurance so bad. Doesn't that sound so fun? No, I never.
I'm not sure that anyone's ever.
No, and if they do, they're crazy. And if they do say that, they should be committed, because that's nuts. Because the insurance part of insurance isn't fun. Mm-hmm. It's just not. It's dry. It is all legal jargon. It is underwriters, and it's blah, blah, blah. What is fun is the people. The people I work with are wonderful. They're some of my favorite humans in the world. My team is phenomenal. My leadership is fantastic. I love my clients. I want to help them. And when they call me with a problem and I can help them, that gives me every warm, fuzzy feeling you can think of. So could I quit my job and do 540 Fitness full time? Yes, probably. I don't know that I want to. It's not my thing. There's a part of me that loves being in that community and loves being a leader there. And I will never let it go.
You actually said that to me one day. You said something to that effect, like it's almost like two identities. Mm-hmm. Do you remember saying that? Can you explain that?
Yeah. So I don't have children. It's my choice to not have children. And I compare 540 Fitness to like mine and Jared's baby. He takes care of the baby while I'm at work, mm-hmm. and I get to go to work, and I get to be boss girl, and I get to go and do my insurance stuff, and I get to go and save the day. And then when I come back, I get to be mom, and I get to take care of the business because I'm the heart, remember?
Yes.
So I get to love on my community, and I get to be in my community, and that's not work for me. I do it for fun. I do it for free. I don't get paid. I do it for like small business owners. We do it for fun. And it is. I'm two different people. Those are two different things for me. Whereas, even though they're both very much me, I can't do one effectively without the other. They give me the balance to do each other.
Did you just say the word balance?
Woo! Who is she?
We're gonna talk about that at some point. Just not yet.
I'm ready.
Okay. Before we do, there are a lot of people out there talking about the importance of health and fitness and all of that all the time, but there's also a lot of misinformation out there. And I think that some people can be so overwhelmed by the amount of information out there that they don't even know where to begin, so they don't start at all. So this is where you come in and you're going to save the day. So tell us about some common misconceptions that you encounter when it comes to the world of fitness, and maybe help us kind of debunk those and get people started out on the right foot if they feel like, okay, something you have shared thus far resonated with them and they don't even know where to begin. They want to lead their own lives effectively. Maybe they're kind of like you in the sense that they, have that professional life and they feel like they're an effective leader there, but then they're not spending the time on themselves that they need to. What might that look like?
First I'll answer the debunk. My top two.
Okay.
My top two.
Give it to me.
Yes. Is that lifting weights is bad for you.
Oh.
And it's going to hurt you. And that's just the opposite of the truth. Lifting weights is good for you and it's going to help you. There's studies on top of studies that women who do jump training and do explosive movements and do resistance training have way less osteoporosis and can actually preserve their bone health. It's huge. That's massive. And it's not bad for you. It's good for you. It's not bad for your joints. And women need to eat. Men need to eat, but women, everyone needs to eat. But dogs, kids, all of them, they all need to eat. But you know as well as I do, how long have women been lied to about that they need to be on 1,000-calorie diet and they need to be as small as possible?
Believe me, I hear it all the time.
And
I hear it all the time. They equate weight to your health. And this is something, well, I'll be honest, I've struggled with it a little bit recently because people think I'm healthy because I'm thin. I'm actually really not. And I need to build out muscle mass like crazy. I'm missing my muscle mass. I had tons of atrophy when I was on bed rest. Yes. So I went from 2-a-days and beefy. And, I understand how addicting it can be so addicting to lift weights. But then when you don't have any muscle mass, I don't feel healthy because I don't have muscle mass. I know I need to eat more, but being thin can also lead to an addictive behavior too, of starting to look at yourself a little too much in the mirror and think, that extra pound really did make a difference. And so, yeah, I can see it from both sides, but it is a challenge.
I struggled with eating disorders myself.
Okay.
And I had some, so in that time period where I was losing a lot of weight, so I went from like 185 to like 115, 125. So
Okay.
Huge difference.
Yeah.
I was very, very thin. And people equate weight loss to being healthy, exactly what you just said. Do you know how many people in that time period were like, oh my God, Jess, you look so good?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I was like, great, because I'm surviving on 5 cigarettes and a Tic Tac.
Yeah.
So freaking great. Let me keep doing that.
I'm starving myself right now, and people say it looks good, so I better keep doing it.
Yes. And it wasn't until I actually checked in with myself and said, do you feel good? And then I was like, no, I'm exhausted. I have no energy. I have no muscle mass. I feel like crap on a catapult. And
you managed to fit it in.
There
I'm
she
sorry,
is.
what was that? You feel like what?
Crap on a catapult.
Okay.
If you watch Parks and Rec, you know what's up. But anyway, I had to really check in and say, and that's when I was telling my story earlier, is like, something's not right. This isn't what it's supposed to feel like. Like, what is the problem here? And if the scale was the only judge of success, then I'm a failure, because I went from about 125, 100, I don't really know, to, very skinny, to now I'm probably like I don't weigh myself anymore because that's another story completely and pointless. But if I had to guess, I'm like 145, 150. So if the only measure of success was that thing that you step on in your bathroom, and that was the only thing that valued you as a human, whether you're healthy or not, I'm a failure. And I can tell you point blank period that I'm not, because my lifts are fantastic. My
you guys
energy,
have to check these out.
Girl, my energy is through the roof, and I feel so good in my body, and I listen to my body. And I did not know what you had to do to get there. I had no idea what it took, because like you were saying, the lies that we're all told, like you have to debunk all of this stuff. And it's so hard to dig to the truth. I found I got lucky. I had a good nutrition coach. And I had a good nutrition coach who was like, hey girl, eat. And I was like, nah, I'm going to get fat. And fat is bad. The worst thing you can be is fat, because fat is unhealthy. Fat's what killed my husband. You can't be fat. And people are telling me I look good. Do you have any idea how bad I need a dopamine hit right now, girl? I need people to tell me I look good. Because if not, then I'm a widow. I'm fat and I'm terrible and my life sucks. So we're going to be skinny. People are going to tell me they like me, and skinny means healthy. It made sense in my head.
Yeah.
The logic.
Completely understand.
And I smoked my cigarette and went on with my life. And it wasn't until, I really had to have a hard look and started eating. And I mean, I still struggle. I'm not going to tell you by any means that I'm like, woo, I found the answer, I'm cured. But I've done the work. I've done a lot of work.
Have you found a way to make it easier to eat healthy? Because most people say it's more expensive to eat healthy, it takes more time, it takes more prep, and they come up with all the reasons why it's so difficult to eat healthy, so they choose not to, right? Have you found a way that you can integrate like healthy eating into your life without all of those negative side effects?
Yes. So, and it's also, there's no all or nothing mentality here. people also fear change because they're like, I love McDonald's. And I'm like, I need you to know I'm not telling you to never have McDonald's again. I'm asking you to maybe eat a vegetable a few times a day. And I'm asking you, every woman in this world, basically blanket statement that I shouldn't be making on, record, needs to increase their protein intake. But to really help break down those stigmas, it's so personal per a person how to make this fit in your life. I have multiple nutrition clients. I'm a nutrition coach now. So all of this full circle, I now coach other people in their nutrition because I went and got certified. I have had enough coaching that I also feel like if you can be certified as a therapist and as a nutrition coach by proxy hours, this girl right here. But it's so personal for each person. I treat each of my nutrition clients very individually. They all have different lifestyles and different skill sets and different things that they're dealing with. If you have kids, if you don't have kids. But to answer your question, without being too curt, you just have to drop the excuse.
No, I love that. No excuses. That's an easy way to put it.
And honestly, and most people that I know they need help with quantity. They do. They need help. They need help knowing how much to eat because most people need to eat more than they are eating. But most people are intelligent enough. You know what's healthy and what's not.
I do.
I don't need to tell you. Yeah. You know. And most people do. They're intelligent. They're very smart. Although there's a whole other story about nutrition labels that sends me into Jupiter and tricky marketing.
Oh.
There is, you should know how to read a nutrition label because you can really market anything as anything. And like you'll look at a certain cereal and it's marketed as like, oh, this is so healthy. And it's has vitamins and minerals and it's so good for you. But then you look at the Cocoa Krispies down the way and the nutrition label is the exact same. If you don't know how to read a nutrition label, you don't know that. Yeah. So it for the most part, it's pretty cut and dry though. Like eat meat if that's your thing. If you're a vegetarian, there's other ways. But eat whole foods, eat vegetables, eat fruits. There is not a single person in this world who can overeat broccoli, and don't be afraid of food. It shouldn't scare you, Yeah. Bread's not scary. Bread's cool.
What?
I love bread.
Oh. I find that shopping around the outside edge, like the perimeter of the grocery store, is my like strategy. I feel like when I go into the middle aisles, then I'm getting into the processed foods. But if I shop the outside edge, that I feel like I'm making better choices. Yes. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and I mean there is truth to that, and I do know too that, like I said, it's so individual for each person. So giving blanket nutrition advice is something I try to avoid. People on the internet love to do it, and it makes me ragey. But I try to avoid blanket nutrition advice because I say you have children, you got to go in those middle aisles. That's where the mac and cheese lives, sis. And if you have a toddler who's only eating mac and cheese and dino nuggets, you gotta trudge in. Yeah. You gotta go into the deep end. How do you handle that?
Yeah, that's
How
true.
do you set yourself up for success in that moment? Yeah. What are your safe foods? What can you have? And it's not, I don't mean safe foods like they're safe in the sense that you can, they're really good for you. I mean safe as in you enjoy them too. And I'm not here to take the enjoyment out of food or any of that or to make food scary or anything like that because it's not. You just have to learn how to live in it. And I have, I also do macro counting. So one of my main nutrition certifications and the way that I choose to treat my body is I count macros.
Okay.
So food is comprised of three things. It is comprised of carbohydrates, it is comprised of proteins, and it is comprised of fats. And everything that you eat has some denomination of those things in it. When you count macros, you hang tight. This is going to get real tricky. And it may be triggering for some people. Disclaimer. You weigh and measure it. You weigh and measure your food. And when I started doing this, it was in no means to restrict my calories. It was to make sure I was getting enough
of the right things.
Things.
Yeah.
Yes. I eat about 3,500 calories a day. And it's to make sure I have the fuel to do all of this crazy stuff that I will not stop doing.
Yeah.
So it's important to know your body and to know what it needs. And a lot of us have been so underfueled for so long that we don't even know what it feels like to have the proper fuel source. But no, shopping the perimeter and eating whole foods is not a bad idea. But if you got to go in, which a lot of people do, have a strategy. Know how to read a nutrition label. Don't be tricked by tricky marketing. Know your macros. Know how to read a protein, a carb, and a fat. It's right on the nutrition label. Do you know what added sugars are? And a lot of people don't. It's not their fault that they don't. They were never taught. There's never a system in place to teach us this. So it's no one's fault that they don't know. But it's time to educate.
Yeah, educate yourself. Definitely. I would say that the time that I was healthiest in my life was when I was counting macros and measuring my food.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
I may have obsessed over it a little bit because I do that sometimes.
Do you like numbers?
I do.
There's something about you and a journal and maybe an agenda and a calendar that I think really, but also with macros, I think there's a certain sense of freedom because I know that if it's in my macros and even if I treat myself to something, I'm still on track. It's not that all or nothing mentality.
Yeah.
How many people have been on a diet? I hate the word diet.
I was going to ask your opinion of that word.
They're on a diet and they say, I want to be bad today. And then they go buck wild.
Yeah.
Because they are off their diet and they want to be bad.
It's a cheat day.
What are we doing? And how do we stop?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not telling you to never have pizza again, but what if I told you that you could have pizza on a Tuesday night and it fit your macros and your whole week didn't blow up and everyone survived?
Yeah.
Like, instead of this all or nothing mentality, I'm either on broccoli, chicken, and rice, or I'm eating 5 pints of Ben & Jerry's. And I'm like, whoa. But that's the fact.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are we doing? And that in no way.
It's so common.
It's not good for your body and it's not good for your brain. Your body likes stability. Your body loves predictability. It likes the same types of things and it wants to know what's going on. When you're over here trying to like trick it and do wild stuff, no wonder people get tummy aches.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, I got IBS. And I'm like, of course you do.
Yeah. You're exactly right. I wish there's so many things I want to dig into with this, but I'm going to pull us back over specifically about incorporating fitness as a busy professional. Girl, you are a busy professional and you make it happen, right? You incorporate fitness. I hear excuses all the time as to the reasons why people can't do it. I will have people who set the intention of exercising 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, and they're all gung-ho and they're excited, and then they call me and they say it was too hot outside, and I am like, bull.
Yeah.
Bull. We are not saying it's too hot outside. The other day, if you would have seen me in front of my TV, I pulled up a Just Dance video on YouTube. From back in the day.
Is there a video of this?
No.
Can there be?
I was sweating within 5 minutes, but I was like, yeah, it's hot outside.
That's beautiful.
But I just made it hot in the living room too.
Yes.
But there's always a way. But where do we start? How can we incorporate fitness as a busy professional?
It's exactly what you just said. It is exactly what you just said. There is no right and wrong way to move your body. I'm not going to put down any style of fitness because if it lights you up and it makes you feel good, that is beautiful and that is fantastic. Your body is made to move. I don't care if it's running. I don't care if it's yoga. I don't care if it's whatever. Do I think that you should maybe have some weight training in there? Yes. There's science there. I'm not going to get into it. But outside of that, if you want to dance in your living room to move your body for 20 minutes, chef's kiss. Love that for you. So one, find the thing that makes you happy. Try different things. Try a water aerobic class. Try a step class. Try a at-home workout. Try different things. Find the thing that lights you up because you know what? If you're miserable, you're going to find the excuse every time. You're going to find it every single time. Maybe riding a bike, whatevs. Find the thing that makes you happy because if not, it's going to be much easier to weasel out of it. The second thing I would say for busy professionals is if you're a busy professional, you have a calendar. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Do you have a calendar?
Do I have a calendar?
Do you?
Do I have a calendar?
She might call it a
You
Bible.
love it.
Yes. This woman's serious.
The Bible and the full focus planner.
Right here together. Yeah. Yes, I love that for you. But if you pencil in there a workout for yourself and you block off that time.
Oh, it happens if it's in there.
Yes. Good. And because you have made a promise to yourself, and you have, what is integrity if not making a promise and keeping it? Mm-hmm.
But to yourself as well.
Yes.
Not just when you make that promise to others. That's the thing. That's why accountability has become such a big thing for me. And I have my accountability groups because we break the promises to ourselves, but not to other people.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Why? Mm-hmm. Why do we break them to ourselves, but not to other people? If you told me you were going to do a workout and you told you were going to do a workout, why would you lie to you? And I think that our brains are smart.
Because we make excuses, because we tell ourselves all the reasons why it's not the we haven't had the perfect day that led up to the ability to work out. Like, oh, this was an extra stressful day. I had to do more than usual. Whatever it is. Like I've got a headache.
Mm-hmm. And what if your excuses were your whys?
Say that again, Jess.
What if your excuses were your whys?
What do you mean by that?
My kids are exhausting. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you should probably do a workout. Get
Mm-hmm.
that out. Mm-hmm. I have a headache. Yeah, your body probably needs a water and needs to move. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a stressful day. Yeah, you should probably move your body.
Truthfully, that is more of a reason.
Yes, mm-hmm. your excuse, and do not, people who use, I do not have children, disclaimer, but using your family to any juncture as an excuse, that is your why. Mm-hmm. You take care of yourself and you love your body. It has nothing to do with fat, skinny, nothing like that. I don't care how you look. It's not my business. Mm-hmm. But internally, you get one of these. Mm-hmm. You get one. And if you run it into the ground because you're so gung-ho on working and filling that schedule with work, and you don't ever take time to eat properly, to take care of yourself properly, the only thing that you're going to work is yourself into an early grave and into very serious health conditions. Yeah. There's no other way around it. Your body can only take so much, and it's not a challenge. That was not a challenge. I don't want to see how much anyone's body can take. That's not the idea. You have to love yourself. You have to, and loving yourself means fitness. It means eating properly. It means taking the time to learn what your body needs. And you know what? That's annoying. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a pain in the butt. It stresses me out that this thing did not just come with a manual.
Yeah.
But you got to learn. But it's so important. And when you learn, you love it.
I have to ask. I need you to coach me through something. I'm going to put you on the spot. Help me with this. Here's my problem.
Sierra's never asked me for help, guys.
I need so much of it. I've always been a runner. I love running. That is my stress relief, right? And I can relate to when you said it is a mental game, right? But the moment that I push through, make it to the end of the run, and I say I did that, I feel so good about myself, even though it was so hard. And during, I'm like, why do I do this? I hate running, right?
Oh yeah.
But when I make it to the end, it feels good, and that's my reason to do it again. Because of health issues as of recent, I have been unable to run. Okay, and so go back to all or nothing, Jess. So I just stopped doing anything because I'm so angry that my body will not allow me to do the one thing that I want to do that I think is good for it.
Yes.
Right? That's the one thing I want to do, but it's telling me I can't. Talk me through that. Yeah. Talk me through options and this crappy mindset that I'm in, because it's just my body's not accepting what my mind wants to do.
This is because this is something that we see often in the fitness community, and it's working through injury. And how do we get past this all or nothing mindset? It's the same kind of thing. And I love, what you said. It's good for your mental health, and you know that you need to move. And in the fact that you acknowledge that. And what if you stay with me?
I will stay with you.
What if you took this as a gift and you said, maybe I can't do this one thing that I know that I'm good at and I know that I love and I know lights me up, but I got the opportunity to work on something else. Because, and I know that there's other things you can work on. I know that there are. There's other strength training things. There's other things that you could grow to enjoy and get better at, that when you're able to run again will make you a better runner. Girl, I could give you some workouts that will really help build strength. And it's finding it failing forward. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. Right now, it's who you are in this moment where the chips are down, you're not having a good time. And trust me, I know how annoying it is to look at your body and be like, I'm trying so hard to love you and you're not loving me back.
Yeah.
And it's okay also to be frustrated. It's okay to be angry with that, and just know that it's okay to look at your body and be like, I'm just trying to run you and take care of you, and you're fighting me on this. Mm-hmm. And so it's easy to want to throw in the towel, but paradigm shift. What if you look at it as a moment to focus on something else? You talked earlier about how you want to build strength.
I do.
What if you looked at this as an opportunity? You got endurance for days. What if you looked at this as an opportunity to build strength? What if you looked at it as an opportunity to focus on your nutrition? What if you looked at it as an opportunity, even though you can't do this one thing, if you spend the whole time thinking about that one thing that you can't do, that you will be able to do again. You will be able to do it again. And you focused on something else and made that a strength too, then you're going to come back even better and stronger. You can't always just sit in what we want to do, but we can't right now. And that's hard because we know we want to, but does that make sense?
I think it makes total sense. And I ask that selfishly for myself, but also I hear all the time people say like, I have a knee injury, so I can't work out. Well,
what about 2 arms?
What about the rest of your body?
Yep, you got 2 good arms. And that's something that we do all the time at 540 Fitness. Like I said, my husband has, he is also an active life coach because he has accolades out the wazoo. And he knows all the things. So active life, the whole point of active life is working through injury and working post-surgery or whatever your limitation is. Limitations are just that. They're limitations, but it is not a dead stop by any means.
Right.
And it's acknowledging what that limitation is. And it's saying, okay, hey, can you do this? Oh, no, that hurts. Okay. Pivot. Mm-hmm. Pivot. And yes, I'm not going to tell you that it does not come without frustration. It does not come without hard work, because it's a lot of frustration and it's a lot of hard work. But God, that payoff, girl, is worth it. Because what's if you don't do it?
Yeah.
You just do nothing?
Yeah, I actually, so
is that an option?
This quote, I read it earlier today. Do something today your future self will thank you for, right? It's that right there. Like, if I don't do anything and we fast forward 6 months and I'm sitting here in the same situation, I could have the same exact conversation, right? Or I could take what you're saying and I could do something about it. That's what I'm going to do, and that's what you're going to hold me accountable to,
I will,
Coach Jess.
Because I love you, and that's how I show my love.
I know.
And I will help you through all of it. Whatever you need, sis. I got you. That's how I show love. But it's true. And because I'm an athlete who's been injured. I'm a competitive athlete also. It's one of my favorite things to do. And as a competitive athlete, I get injured. And there are times where I have to sit certain things out. I don't stop. Mm-hmm. I work on something else, and I pivot my focus, and when I come back stronger.
Yeah. Can I just say that every time someone says the word pivot, I have I'm on Friends.
Pivot. Pivot. Yeah, I know. Me too.
It's happened numerous times in my head. I had to make a confession.
Yes. Every time I said it, I knew what I was thinking.
Okay, something that makes you stand out is your ability to build community. Okay. I have no doubt that you've built that community in 540 Fitness. You've built that community with your team at TWG. So let's talk about community for a couple of minutes. Okay. This is a big part of leadership. How does fostering a community in your gym specifically impact the motivation and success of your members? And then we're going to switch over to TWG for a second. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, this is my favorite question, by the way.
Oh, I love it. Then.
Well, because the biggest part of my story was finding that gym and finding those people. And there were people that they did not know anything about me outside of that gym at that time. Now they know everything about me because they're my best friends. But at that time, they didn't know anything about me except I walked through those doors and I wanted to get better. And that's all they needed to know. They didn't need to know another darn thing about me. And they said, come on in, girl. The water's fine. And they showed me the ropes.
Yeah.
And do you know how much that means? That is community. That's an aspect of community. That is community. And then when the chips were down and I needed help, they showed up, guns blazing, ready to rock.
Yeah.
That is community. When I show up on a daily basis, good day, bad day, and different, they are happy to see me. They're excited. They tell me about their life. We talk. If I'm not there, they're concerned about me. I'm always there. But if something happens and I'm not there, they're worried. That is community. And I don't think that we are, as people, are meant to be alone. You know? Do you? I just don't think we're meant to be alone.
I don't think so.
Yeah, we're meant to be with people. It takes a village. And you need to find your village. And everybody's village is a little bit different, but you have to put the work in. You have to try. And I chose this village. They chose me, I guess. I don't know. We chose each other because we all care about one thing, and it's that one thing isn't even fitness, I don't think. I don't.
What do you think it is?
We care about getting better. That's all we want. We are not the fittest people in the entire world. I'm not the fittest woman in the world. I wish I was. But I show up every day and I want to get better. And I want to fail because that means I'm trying. I want to do good. I want to smile. I do more dancing in that gym than I do fitness, I tell you that. And I want to continue to do that. And I think that they want the same things. So we find this place. We have this building. The gym has nothing to do with the building. We prove that. Yeah. It doesn't matter where we are. My community is my community. These people are my people. And we show up at this place. We throw around some heavy weight. We get a little bit better. And that's all we want to do. And it's magic, really. It's beautiful. It's everything.
I love the way that you described it. So tell me how that community has grown since you found your new facility.
Oh, it has. We have new people, which is beautiful. People found us. And just hearing the new members that have come in and said, wow, I didn't know something like this existed. And I'm like, and they tell me how much it changes their lives. They invite their spouses. They bring their family. They are so proud of it. And that's all I want. I want people to be so proud that this is their gym and that this is their community. And they're proud of that. And then their body does something that their body could have never done before. And then they're proud of that. And I'm like, how does that not trickle over into your everyday life? Yeah. How does that not carry over into you take that sense of pride and happiness and all of a sudden you're out there kicking butt and taking names because you know tomorrow you're going to walk in that gym and you're going to do something real cool in a room full of people that love you. And so, we grow very organically. People post about us. Our community, I'm sure they will share this podcast. They do those things without being asked. They just do it because they're proud. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that they built it. They built the community. They are the culture. I can influence the culture as one of the leaders of the gym, but they carry it out. They create the culture.
Everybody has a part in that.
Yes. When someone new walks in that door, I don't have to tell anyone to go introduce themselves and say hi and to make that person feel welcome. They do it because they love the culture, they love the community, and that's what we do. There's no other way to put it. That's just who we are and what we do. And we all know what it feels like to be new at a gym. It's horrifying.
Oh, yeah.
It's scary.
Well, it goes back to what you said about being new at anything.
It's terrible.
Anything new that you try.
Yes.
That's why I did the podcast. Because I knew that I would suck.
I'm so proud
and I would
of you.
be terrible, and I would love being terrible.
And you're not terrible, though. You're so good at it, which is so infuriating for so many of us. Because, gosh, can't you be bad at anything ever? You're so good at stuff, and I love you for it. But you're not. You're in it. But you would have never known that you had this gift. You would have never known that you could talk to people like this had you not taken that risk. And it is a risk, and it's scary because you have to be how vulnerable does this make you?
Totally. How many times did we have to restart at the beginning because I felt like I just couldn't get it right?
Only several. It's fine.
3.
Yeah, it's good.
Minimal curse words.
Minimal. I would have said so many more. You did great. But yeah, but it's vulnerable and it's scary, and this is, the ultimate setup for failure.
Yeah.
But you embrace it.
You know what I just thought about? So branching out, right? Branching out. Think about a tree. Imagine me talking about a tree, okay? And think about this brand new branch that is growing. Mm-hmm. Is it weak or strong in the beginning? Just little baby one.
Yeah,
She's pretty weak.
She knew.
You can't hang anything on that branch.
No, you can't hang. You're going to die. Don't do it.
But if you put the energy and effort into it, and you continue to grow, and you get stronger and stronger, and then that branch is going to make a little baby branch too.
And it just keeps going.
It just keeps growing.
Yes, and it takes, and what is the key there? Time. It takes time. Yeah. Do not get me started on the I want it now 21-day fix.
I did that before. I'm not going to lie.
There's nothing wrong with the workouts, the at-home workouts. It's the concept for me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I know
I'm not
exactly where you're
anyone's
coming
fitness.
from. I know exactly.
However you want to move your body is beautiful and wonderful, and I respect it. But telling people that it takes 21 days to fix all of your habits and to change your life.
And then you get to the end of the 21 days and you go, wait, now what? Oh, wait, that was the end of my diet. I got where I wanted to go. Now I can go back to normal life.
And it's no one's fault.
A vicious cycle.
It's no one's fault because it's you want to believe it. Mm-hmm. I want to believe that if I'm overweight and my goal is to lose weight because my health markers are bad, there needs to be several aspects playing into this. And I find this program that says, 21 days, you're going to lose 30 pounds. Yes, I want to believe that that's true. Mm-hmm. It's not. Mm-hmm. And it takes time. I've been at this for years. And you know what? I hate saying that because it's not fun and it's not sexy and it's not great. But it's allows you the opportunity to fail forward. It allows you the opportunity that I don't have to be 100% for 21 days and expect to lose 30 pounds. Mm-hmm. My balance is I am a little bit more sporadic than that. Mm-hmm. I'm not absolutely perfect every day, but I'm consistent as all heck.
Yeah.
I show up every day. It's my life now. Mm-hmm. It's who I am. I don't know who I am without it. And I don't want to know. But it's the rhetoric out there of the quick fix. Mm-hmm. If anyone says the word detox to me, I'm going to jump out this window. It's things like that really
I feel like we all have those things in like whatever industry or wherever your passion lies. There are certain words that just make you cringe, like diet what are yours? Or detox or whatever.
Are there any of those in leadership?
Oh my goodness. No, you know what I would say is for me it has to do with the coaching side of things. I get frustrated on the coaching, not the leadership side. There are some things, yes. But actually just the past 2 days I spent a lot of time around some coaches, and they were talking about the coaches that are always they baby you and tell you all the things you want to hear and not the truth. And that can be so frustrating for me because then you're contributing to the person being stuck where they are. You're not pushing them. Yeah. You're not allowing them to fail forward.
Well, what's the point of a coach?
Exactly. Not to just tell you that, you're doing great. Just hang out here and be miserable. My athletes would agree
that that's not how I coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I push you because I love you.
So that's the frustrating thing for me is hearing that.
And well, we are both coaches in different aspects of life.
Very different.
But we are both coaches, and how do we love our people if not to push them?
Yeah.
What are we here for if we're not pushing them? Mm-hmm. And not to the point of break.
Show them what they're capable of.
Yes. Yeah. Never to the point of breaking them. Always to the point of showing them what they're capable of. Because we see it.
Yeah.
Do you know?
I know.
Like you see it in them so clearly. Mm-hmm. And you're like, ooh.
I want you to see this for yourself.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I tell my people all the time, I would never set you up for failure. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't. Mm-hmm. Because I know what you're capable of. Yeah. And I would never set you up for failure. And when they trust themselves and they do that thing that they never thought they could do, it brings tears to my eyes every time.
Yes.
Oh.
I love it. Talking about setting up for success, just a note, when we talk about kind of stepping into this fitness journey, just like little baby steps, one at a time, I know something that helped me get set up for success when I was trying to build this new habit or routine, being consistent, was just laying out the clothes was step one.
Yeah.
Just having the clothes laid out in advance. So that was not an excuse for me. Like, it can be the smallest thing. What would you say is your recommendation of that one teeny tiny thing, one first step that they can take in the right direction?
Well, depending on where you are, I mean, the very first step, if anything, if you're trying to get healthier, is look at your nutrition first. Okay. I would say even look there first.
Okay.
If you're drinking coffees that are loaded with gallons of sugar, or if you're drinking soda every day, that's a very easy, small fix that's going to pay off in dividends. If your goal is to get in the gym and start moving your body, I love the idea of laying out your clothes. I do the same thing, actually.
Do you?
I think it's brilliant. And, well, because I don't know about you, but I don't have time to mess around in the morning. I get up at 4 o'clock. I don't have time to mess around.
Yeah.
So to get started, if you're brand new and you're just boop, little toe in, I think walk, get outside, go for a walk, set a timer on your phone that you're going to walk with authority, get in there, get the arms going a little bit if you feel like it, 45 minutes a day. And just, what if you just did it? What if you just didn't say you were going to do it and you actually did it? And it's really that simple. And I hate to dumb it down like that, but the way that fitness and nutrition works, when you have especially a coach, by yourself, it can be a little bit more trying. So I don't mean to make people feel silly if they don't know what they're doing, because I just said earlier that the world of nutrition and fitness can be very confusing because they made it confusing. But if you have a coach, it's very simple, and you either do it or you don't. And it's a choice. You make a choice. You either show up that day and you show up for yourself, or you don't. And it's a very, easy choice to make. And if you consistently make the right one and you consistently show up, it happens. It happens. And I think the problem is a lot of people don't trust that it happens. So they kind of talk themselves out of it. And they're afraid.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage. We see a lot of self-sabotagers, and it breaks my heart into a million pieces. And we've loved them through it. We do, because the accountability in my gym is pretty on point. They know you.
No doubt.
They know you. They know what time you come to class. They find you. And if you're not there, they're going to very gently ask where you are and when you're coming back. And we have people that have been doing this with us for years consistently. And you see it. We have some strong men and women. Some people that are athletes. I don't know how old Dwight is, but oh God, Dwight, I'm so sorry. I think you're 62. But he is and he's been fitnessing with us for years. And he is a athlete like none other. He is a phenomenal athlete. He's strong. And I look at him and I'm like, all that was consistency. He just made the choice every day to show up. Yeah. And how cool is that? Because that's accessible to everybody.
Yeah.
That choice is accessible to anyone who wants to make it.
I think making it as simple as that, just the choice. If you make the choice, today is the day I'm going to make a change.
Yeah.
For me, I had even said just getting a stand-up desk so I'm not sitting in my chair all day long.
Yeah.
That makes a difference. Or between my client appointments, taking one lap around the building instead of sitting in my chair for those 10 minutes. Every single time that I make that choice to do it differently than I did it before, I am already making progress.
You made a choice.
Yeah.
And because you could have, in that moment, you are a full-grown adult with all the control over your body in the world. You could have said, I think I'm just going to sit here. But it's the difference. And, you're a better person for it. And also you have integrity with yourself now, because your brain is smart. And if you consistently set it up and say, okay, I'm going to do this, and then you don't, it's just like, okay, so You're my friend. If I told you, Sierra, I'm going to be here at 11 o'clock and we're going to record this podcast and I didn't show up, first, you would probably be concerned about me.
I would be concerned.
Yes, good, as you should, because you know me. But and then I said, oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot. And you said, no worries, friend, we're going to reschedule. And you rescheduled with me. And then I didn't show up again. You would probably give me one more moment of grace because you're a kind person.
Yeah.
But then I did it to you a third time or a fourth time or a fifth time. At what point do you stop trusting me as a person completely?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I would stop.
You would. Absolutely you would. And I would deserve it. Do you think your brain with yourself is any different?
It's not.
And if you lie to yourself consistently and say, okay, I'm going to do it, and then you don't. I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to do it. I'm going to be there. And then you don't. You've lost every ounce of integrity with yourself. Your body, I know when I tell myself, oh, my friends would agree with this 100% because this is one quality that I have. If I tell you I'm doing something, it is done. There is no if, answer, but that's something that I like about myself very much, is if I tell myself I'm doing something, there's no other way. And what if we all just treated ourselves that way?
Yeah.
What if I told myself I was going to do something and I just did it? And that's how I treat myself every single day, is I've set the structure. I made a promise to myself. I put it in my calendar. I made my agenda. This is who I am as a person. And then I just make the choice and I follow through with it. Does that mean that every day is perfect and I'm hitting PRs every day and every day is magical?
Of course not.
No. Yeah. Some days I show up and I'm trash. Some days I am garbage. Some days I lay on the floor and go, meh. But whatever. I still showed up.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's what matters.
Yes, I show up. So that's that.
The community aspect that you talked about in the gym and in that fitness community in general, which, by the way, I understand how powerful it can be to just have someone root for you. I remember, like, when I was a runner, when I'd come out of the woods and people were rooting for me, I'd run so fast, and then I'd get back into the woods again and I'd run slow because I was in my head.
No one's watching
right?
me.
No one's watching me, right? But people cheer you on, and that feels so good. Let's talk about cheering people on in that community in the workplace.
Yeah.
And I know that we talked about the TWG community and culture a little bit when Mark was on here, which he is amazing. Let's talk about the community aspect in the workplace and how you take what you've kind of learned through the fitness community and apply it to now leading a team at TWG.
I love the people that I've surrounded myself with in my professional life and in my gym family are really top notch. These people, you really be hard pressed to hold a candle to any of them. They're amazing. And I think that is what drives a culture, is that everyone is so fantastic that you either get with the culture and you get up there and it drives you to be a better person, or it's quite noticeable. So I part of the way that I lead my team, or I try to, and I try to be very successful in this, is I try to reward in public. I try to be very vocal about how I think my team is doing, and they do phenomenal. And I try to make sure everyone knows that, hey, you know, Alicia, Kelly, Renee, they are knocking it out of the park. Those are my girls. And I try to tell everyone at every team meeting that without their support, we couldn't do it. And that's not me. That's not lip service. That's not me wishing something into existence. They show up every day and put in the work. And so we acknowledge in public. I root for them in public. And if there's ever a moment where we need to discuss something that should have maybe gone better, that's a private matter. We do that privately. We do that with love. We do that, you know, and it's the same way that I coach. You know, if someone needs help with something, that's a private matter, and you take care of that privately, and you cheer in public. And we try to keep morale high, because I told you earlier that things can be really trying in the insurance industry right now. And that empathy extends to each other, because we're all humans. We're all dealing with our own stuff, and you know, sometimes dealing with clients is rough, but we try to keep that morale up. We try to really be friends first. We're all friends. We all listen to each other and take care of each other. And also the responsibility that each one of us has to take care of the client is really evident. So that's not something that I ever had to teach them. And I'm really fortunate that that's the case with each one of my coworkers and, teammates is that I never had to teach them how to do that. They all came into that very naturally. So had that situation been different, maybe I would have a, different way of talking about it, but they know how to do their job. They show up and they care independently, which I guess maybe teaching people to care would be too hard anyway.
Yeah. Well, no, it's shared values. You guys were very selective in who you brought on board, and you made sure that those individuals were in alignment with what you value. And that, I mean, you guys are a perfect example of making sure that you wait and find the right people, not rushing into bringing someone on board.
My interviewing and hiring struggles, sister, because you had to talk me through them. Interviewing people is the hardest.
Tell me why.
Part of my job.
Tell me why.
Because I have a really hard time reeling in empathy and reeling in just loving people.
Yeah.
You can sit here and tell me every terrible thing about you, and I'm going to try to make it the most positive thing in the world. And I know that about myself, and it's not something that I would change about myself. But when you're trying to be discerning and selective over who's coming into your company, you have to be discerning and selective. It's something that I'm continuously growing. It's something that I'm working on in myself, is that I need to, and you helped me with this, to trust my gut. I came to you in a situation where I knew in my gut that it was not right. And I felt it, but I had a hard time trusting it. But you basically just told me that. You were like, no. And I told you why I felt that way. It wasn't just my gut. I had other reasons.
You had reasons.
But, and I was just like, and you were like, no, you're spot on. Like, let's go. Like, it's okay. But, and I think sometimes that it's easy to get, too empathetic or, and it's hard for me to sit across the table from somebody who the decision I make, and that's one thing of being a leader that's terrifying, I can impact these people's lives. Who gave me that power?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's horrifying. I should be horrified by that. It's scary. The decisions that I make directly impact their livelihood. And I do not take that lightly.
I know you don't.
That is huge. I need to show up for them. And I need to make sure that I'm setting them up for success. And I need to make sure that they're in the right place. And you taught me that not even showing empathy to somebody and giving them a job is not always empathy.
No, because tell me why.
Because they're not going to thrive there, and it's going to actually set them down the wrong path. When you set them free, it gives them the ability to go find their TWG, whatever that is for them. They get to find the place that they get to thrive. I listen to you. I do. I listen to you.
That makes me so happy.
I do. I listen to everything you tell me.
Oh, that's wonderful. No, you're exactly right. Because if you say yes to the wrong person because you feel bad, you feel guilty, you feel like if I say no, that means, well, oh my gosh, what if they don't find a job right away? Is it going to impact their family? Are they not going to be able to pay the bills? I understand that. You don't want to have that impact. But at the same time, you bring them on board and either they're miserable, it's not a good fit, you end up, you're training them, and then they turn around and decide it's not a good fit, but they stay because they want to keep you happy, and then everybody's not happy, right? There's so many different ways that this could end so poorly.
And it will.
Yeah.
It will.
It will eventually.
It does. It would.
Yes, but by saying no, and sharing with them the reason why, I think is important too, and understanding. I see these, you can still tell them all the amazing qualities you see in them.
Yeah.
And they can take them and apply the skill set that they have elsewhere and fit perfectly.
Yes.
So I'm so proud of you.
Well, I'm proud of you. We're in your podcast right now. That's wild. I know, but I love it. It's just, it's but it's scary. It can be if you think about it too hard, being a leader. Yeah.
Well, but you should think about it, and you should continue to push yourself to have those difficult conversations, even though it was uncomfortable to say a no.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, it was hard. It was really hard. And but it was the right thing. It was the right thing. And now I look at my team, and I just brought on a new team member. She was my hire, and I'm training her, and she's wonderful. And I love her. And I'm like, you just got to follow the path. You got to trust your gut. And, I hope everyone finds that. I want everyone to find their thing. I want wherever that thing is. I want them to find their thing at work and in the gym. I want them to find all the things.
All the things.
Because it's nice.
Yes.
It's nice when you feel like you belong.
It is.
It is.
So finding all the things and achieving balance. I had to come back to the word balance. Do you believe in balance? Is it possible? What does balance look like for you, Miss Jess?
Balance is tricky, as you know. Balance is tricky. I think at a 1,000-foot view down, balance is possible. Yes. I think on a day-to-day, balance is not possible. Does that make sense?
Okay, tell me why.
In my life, at this time, I feel like I personally have balance at a 1,000-foot view down.
Okay.
In my family, in my fitness, in my work, in my relationship with my husband, in my relationship with people, with my friends, with my cohorts. I do feel like I have balance. On a day-to-day level, it does not look like I got everything even. Each box is even today.
Not supposed to be.
No, because some days I don't get a workout in. There are days you're supposed to take rest days. Everybody take rest days. You're supposed to take rest days. But there are days that maybe I plan to work out that I didn't get a workout in because something happened, and that day I had to pour a little bit more into the home bucket or into the family bucket. Maybe my family needed me. Maybe my work needed me. So I had to be there.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be days where my workout's hitting and I'm killing it, and I get to spend all my time in the gym. I get my lift done. I get my Metcon done. I get my accessory done, and I'm on fire. But that was time that I didn't get to spend at home with my family and my dogs and my husband. But at the end, as long as I think the day-to-day can be a little different. Maybe I'm stuck at the office. That's okay. And as long as the 1,000-foot view, you're even, then because you have a funny little thing that you do that you
what funny little
you
thing,
do.
Jess?
You have a thing that you check in with different aspects of your life.
Your wheel of life.
You have yes.
And a lot of people are terrified to do that exercise because they feel like they're going to be a flat. And I'm like, well, there's always an area that you are not feeling as satisfied in as you would like to be. Maybe you're not feeling as fulfilled. And without doing the exercise, you might not pinpoint that area and give it the attention it deserves.
I think it's a great exercise.
And so I find that I use that to prioritize. And yeah, I do it at the beginning of every quarter, and I try to say this quarter my focus is this. Okay, yeah, go ahead and laugh at me.
I love you. You are.
It is consistent. But do I adjust throughout the quarter? Heck yeah, because different things need my attention, and I didn't know those things were going to come up. But what I thought about was those days where you find yourself, hitting that PR that you didn't expect to, right? And that fills your cup to deal with those really challenging moments. Like you're then pouring from a totally full cup.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that brings you energy and joy, right? People look at me and think, oh my gosh, she's pouring into her work. She's spending too much time at work. But guess what? It brings me energy and joy.
Yes.
So when other things are not going well, I still have that to pour into them.
Your work is your love. And it does. And that is, it can be two things.
Yeah.
It can be both. It doesn't have to be as clear. Like my friend circle and my gym circle are the same circle. For the most part.
Yeah.
I obviously have friends outside of there, but a lot of my people are there. So when I'm at the gym pouring into my fitness cup, I'm also pouring into my community cup. I'm pouring into my friendship cup. I'm pouring into my networking cup. Those are my people. Yeah. Those are my friends. And so it is important though. I love what you do in making sure that you're calling awareness to it. Because if you have an inclination to get too far one way, and we all do, we're people.
Yeah.
There's going to be something that we prefer over the other. Because one of those cups maybe isn't fun to pour into. Maybe, I love my family, but if you have a tough family, maybe it's hard to pour into that cup.
Yeah.
And you have to find ways to intentionally pour into that cup. And if you don't, then you're never going to feel fulfillment there. You're never going to fix whatever's broken there. You're never going to be a full, well-rounded person in that aspect. So I know I love what you do. I think it's great.
Thanks. Well, it's how fulfilled you feel in that area and not in comparison to someone else, right?
No.
So you might require a lot more time in the gym in order to fill that cup and feel like it's where it needs to be, right? But maybe for me, I have that same exact wheel of life, and I have my health category, and I have it broken out into physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, right? And so that physical health, which is intertwined in fitness with mental and emotional, I'm not gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
But for me, I might feel fully satisfied and fulfilled and give it an extremely high rating if I'm doing 30 minutes a day. And that's amazing for me, right? But for you, it might look completely different. It might take something like an hour a day or hitting a certain PR in order for you to feel fulfilled in that area to get that rating. And so the other thing that I want to make sure people understand when they do that exercise is you're comparing yourself to yourself and no one else. Right? You are just looking at what is it going to take to make me happy in this area.
And I love that.
And it's just not always the same. So another one that's pretty common is people will say, I'm not spending as much time in service to the community right now, but they might say I'm doing that because I'm taking care of myself. I've poured into that for so long. I did so many. I worked on nonprofit boards, blah blah blah. Right? I did all of these things in service to the community, and I need to really take care of me right now. You can still have a high rating in service to the community because they're happy with where they are right then, even though they're not doing a lot.
Right. Okay.
So I need people to understand that it's the level of fulfillment, not how much you are doing. That's not how we're rating this.
This helps.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now will you actually do the exercise?
Yeah. No, I will. I do. I know. I listen to everything you told me to do. I would. Yes. Yes. Because it's
because I want to see what your wheel looks like.
I do feel very balanced right now.
I believe that.
And I think it's intentional. I am not unintentional about anything I do in my life. I spent a very messy year, reckless and unintentional. My word of 2024 was intentional.
Oh.
I pick a word.
Yeah, that's mine every year.
Really?
It's literally my word every year.
It's a great
that
word.
And growth. It's intentional growth.
Yes. Intentional is my word right now.
Awesome.
Because it's one thing to show up. It's one thing to show up intentional and to do things with intention and to speak with intention and to, make sure, because, you have impact. And if you do things with full focus and intention and not just to go through the paces, things change. You start to weed out the stuff that doesn't light you up.
Yeah.
That doesn't super matter because you're no longer just doing it to do it. And it really makes you focus on what makes sense and what works for you and what makes you happy. And I feel really happy.
I'm so happy for you.
And
I do believe that your wheel would be extremely balanced, from the outside looking in. But I almost think that, people talk about how happy and optimistic and energetic and all of that you are. I think that is because you have achieved that balance.
Yes. And I think it's because I try really hard. Like today, I went to the gym this morning. I made time for that. I came here to be with you, to fill my personal cup and to fill, also my responsibilities of, talking about my businesses and to do that, to fill my professional cup.
Yeah.
And then after this, I'm going to go to my nephew's birthday party with my whole family and fill my family cup. And just, this is all very important stuff to me. But it's you versus you, and it's all very individual. And it's the optimism that I have. A lot of people, some would call me annoyingly optimistic.
Yeah, I've gotten that before too, and maybe people don't even think of me as being that optimistic, but I'm called annoying too.
They just left out the optimistic right now. I've been called annoyingly optimistic, and I think that comes a lot from knowing how bad it can be, and even my worst day today is not nearly as bad as the worst days I've survived.
Yeah.
Oh, girl, I've done some stuff. I've done some bad things. I don't deserve this life. You know, and I say that with a humble heart. I don't say that with detriment to myself. I say it with a humble heart. I don't say it that I'm a bad person. I say it that I've done some bad things. I have. I've been a bad person. I've done hurtful things to myself. I've done it to others. I have been reckless. I have been careless. I did just things that I'm not proud of.
We all have, Jess.
Yes, I know. But and to look at the life that I have now, I know that I don't deserve it, and I work every day to look around and just breathe that in with such gratitude. I know that this can all disappear in a minute. Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
This can disappear at any moment. The life that I have, I've worked very hard to cultivate it intentionally. I've intentionally cultivated.
I was going to say, you have done this for yourself.
I have. But that doesn't mean that it's mine to keep. It doesn't. It can go away at any moment. I can lose everything at every moment. So every day that I wake up and I'm in this life, and I have my husband, and I have my friends, and I have my family, and I have my gym, and I have my job, that's beautiful.
It is.
Even on a bad day, even on my worst day, that is divine. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for the life that I have. It's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And every day that I wake up, I'm so lucky. Because it could be much worse.
It could. It always could. And I think that that's what makes me have such a positive mindset too about things. And my family jokes about how I can be sickeningly positive, and I'm like, but I love, that's what gets me through the hard times too, is that the hope and possibility for overcoming this obstacle and getting to see the light again, right? There's always something we're pushing through. Always, yes. Okay, so I wanted to ask you about growth because, when I look at you and I'm like, whew, if you look at where you are in your fitness journey and how far you've come, you have grown like crazy already as it is, but I know you have goals. I know you're working towards things.
Yes.
What are you actively trying to grow in your life as a whole right now? It doesn't have to be in fitness. What are you trying to learn? Something new you're working on? Tell us, where are you growing?
So many things. I love this question too. Thank you for asking. I love, because it's so important to have goals. It's so, because what are we doing if we don't have something that we're striving towards? It's what makes life fun. So I do have fitness goals. I always have fitness goals. So
I expected that.
Yes, my husband does all my programming. He is a brilliant programmer. He has gotten me where I am now, and he's gotten me here safely and injury-free, and with all of my care in my body and feeling strong and confident. So I'm very lucky to have him. I'm currently working on my Olympic lifts, which is like a snatch and a clean and jerk. They're very technical lifts, and they are my biggest weakness currently. And that's my favorite thing to do, is to find my biggest weakness and exploit it and to make it a strength.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of like the game. And just I can't say it enough. I just fail forward. I just say it constantly because that's what I do. This morning I went to the gym and I worked on my Olympic lifts, and they were not pretty. They were not good, but I got the opportunity to work on them. And I actually started, this is accountability because I'm saying it all out loud. Oh, God. Irk. So I started a video because I'm on a 12-week strength cycle with these Olympic lifts, and that's how cycles work. It's, all very technical. Jared could explain it. And I started a video of where I am on week 1. And then I'm going to recap it on week 12. And I know I'm going to be better. Do you know why I know that? Because I'm going to put in the work.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up and I'm going to put in the work. And I know that my Olympic lifts are going to get better. And I can't wait to share that reel on the internet.
I cannot wait to see it.
It's going to be fun. So I'm working on that. And then professionally, I am working on being a more confident leader and leading with confidence. And I think that that's part of the journey of leadership. I'm sure you could tell me all about that. Is when you become a leader, it probably takes some time to find your footing, I would imagine. And I want to be a good leader. I want to be a kind leader. And this is kind of new to me. So I'm trying to find my footing, and I think I'm doing a good job, but it's I'm continuously setting goals for myself there to make sure that I'm doing good at the meetings, that I'm presenting my team right, that I'm giving them all the tools they need to be successful? Am I setting them up for success? Am I putting them in roles like we talked about in my leadership class? Am I putting them in roles that they're fit to do and that make them feel good? Do they feel good coming into work every day? It's my job to know. It's my job to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's my job to make them comfortable talking to me. And I think I've done that, and I think I'm going to continue to do that, but it's not without effort, and it's not without intention. And outside of that, my family is always a goal. I love my mom. My mom's my best friend. Aww. And her and my dad are both awesome, and they've done a lot for me over the years. And they continuously just show up for me. So to continue to take care of them as they age is very important to me.
Okay.
So they come to the gym.
Oh, good.
Because that's important for me to make sure that they're healthy and that they're taken care of, because I want my parents to be here forever, because they're my parents.
Yeah.
And to show my nieces and nephews, my nephew, I have 2 nieces and a nephew that I adore more than anything. They're the best kids in the world. And I want to show them what it is to be a strong person, a woman for my nieces, and just a, general athlete and person for my nephew, and to show them, if I could save them the body issues that I had, if I could save them, and I'm sure they're going to find their own, of course, but if I could be a resource for them. Could you imagine being a teenager with an aunt who was a nutrition coach and led with like weightlifting and loving your body, and that, gaining weight wasn't the worst thing you could do, and that didn't mean you were unworthy? Could you imagine what that would do for your psyche?
That would be amazing.
I know.
Everybody needs that.
I want to be that aunt for everybody. Okay. I want to be everyone's cool aunt. That's my life goal. So those are, I have pretty lofty goals, and and then and all of those lofty goals, as you have taught me, are short, actionable goals, of course. Yes, and these are my 100-foot view goals. But in those 100-foot view goals, I do have short, small, actionable goals that I do daily to make sure that I'm getting my long-term goals.
Right. That's a lot to be focused on all at the same time. However, I know that you can do it because you have broken it down into small incremental pieces, right? That I find that that's what it takes. People can get very overwhelmed by that bigger goal, but if we can just outline what that first step looks like in each of those areas, it's a lot easier to digest, for sure.
Yeah. How do you eat an elephant?
Yeah.
Bite at a time.
Bite at a time. Yeah. Well, before we kind of summarize some key points from the episode, I am going to open this up to you, because you cracked me up when you asked, like, is this going to be like a conversation, or are you just going to like drill? Are you going to be grilling me the whole time? Do you have any questions for me?
Well, I just want, if you're comfortable, I just wanted you to, because you have a health journey that is sad and hard, but it's important, because people, I know, they look at you and they see someone, as they should, that is beautiful and strong and healthy and wonderful and tiny, but it's also, I know that there's so much more underneath that, from just things that you've shared and things that I know about you, and it would be a disservice to not hear your story.
Yeah.
So
if
you'll talk to me.
Yeah, of course I'll talk to you. I never know what direction to take it in, because it's literally an onion. There are so many aspects to that story. And I don't even know which part to focus on. So in kind of relating it to what we're talking about today and pushing through, I had my health. My health was great. I had always been an athlete. I'd always been a runner. I did have amazing endurance, like you said earlier. I could run for days and loved it. It was my release. And my divorce was my death in the family. Like that, you know what I mean? Like, yes, when I went through the divorce, I went into a deep state of depression. And that was my hard time. And I thought that was going to be the worst thing I ever experienced, was that, until I ended up with my Lyme disease. And I think there are a lot of things that made it really scary for me. One, because they didn't figure out for the longest time what it was. It took forever, lots of testing, brain MRI, CT scan, this, that, and the other. And they have no idea what it is. So that was really scary, right? Because I'd been told so many times, like my dad has told me my entire life, if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. You have to focus on your health first, Sierra, right?
Right.
Drilling that into my head my whole life. And I'm like, yeah, I know dad, right?
Meanwhile, you're 16 and fine.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all right.
Exactly. Until I didn't have my health.
Yep.
And I was like, I don't have anything. You're right. I don't have anything. I feel like I had lost my, I lost all my muscle. I couldn't exercise. I felt like I lost my memory. I couldn't remember how to get to work. I literally would leave the house and I'd get lost doing the same exact commute I had always done. I was exhausted. I couldn't make it all the way to work. I'd have to sleep in a parking lot.
You were bedridden too, weren't you?
I was bedridden twice, once for 6 months and once for 8 months.
Can you, like, what does that do to someone who was, I'm sure that some people would look at my story and go, oh God, that's my worst nightmare. Mm-hmm. Fair. Mm-hmm. But I honestly hear your story, and I'm so sorry to say this to you. That's my worst nightmare. Mm. It is, and I mean, I don't mean that in like a funny way, but I mean like, what does that do to you when you are an active person, you're a healthy person, and you love movement, and then you're bedridden? I'm so sorry that happened to you.
I kind of want to cry.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to do that.
No, it was terrible because not only was I very active, I've always had this mindset that I had to do everything on my own and I needed to be independent. And now I had to let someone take care of me.
Yeah.
So that was hard.
It is hard.
And literally just watching my muscle disappear. Because you know how hard you have to work to build muscle. So and hard. You know how quickly it goes away just by not working out in general, but by literally not getting any movement or exercise. But the other thing that was hard was in the beginning, like having doctors straight up tell you like you're crazy and we don't know what's wrong with you. There's obviously nothing, like this is just all in your head. Or Lyme disease isn't actually a thing. That was the whole other issue is like they couldn't write that as a diagnosis code on things. So you want to talk about debt, insurance nightmares. I'm still, I had talked about in a previous episode, trying to get out from under my debt. There was the period of medical expense debt, right? But then there was the feeling sorry for myself because my life has gone to crap all of the sudden, and I'm just going to eat my feelings because that is that little burst of dopamine that I could have. I was eating icing out of a container. You know what I mean?
You do what you got to do.
Yeah, that's what got me through.
Let's forgive that girl real quick, though, because you got to forgive that girl who was eating icing out of the container. Because, and I talk to myself like this all the time. I forgive that girl who drank that alcohol and did that bad stuff because she was doing her best.
Yeah, so, that's true.
I love that girl.
Oh, thanks.
She needs love. Yeah,
she does. No, I appreciate that. That's helpful. I don't even know what to say about it. It was the worst. It was the worst time in my life. And I felt sorry for myself. I did. I was a victim for so long. How could this happen to me? What did I do to deserve this? I'm being punished for something. What is the choice that I made that led to this? That was like my mindset. Meanwhile, I felt like I had abandoned my students who were my children. And I could not provide the education from my bed. And, I'm doing sub plans, trying to send them in and still have an impact on the kids from afar, right? That was really hard. So there were so many different aspects that were challenging. But I think it was the second time that I was on bed rest that was the hardest for me because it was when I was having to be carried up the stairs. And like I felt like a baby, like a child, like I truly I couldn't take care of myself. And now thinking too about the people around me that had to do that.
But how much they love you.
Yeah. Yeah. So bouncing back from that was really hard.
That is.
And the thing is, I always wanted to play it off like I was doing better than I was. And so just like walking out to the chicken coop was a big deal. I would be out of breath. I would be exhausted. I'd come back into the house like as I was recovering, right? And I'm like, wow, I like fed the chickens today, like really coming, like going far in life now, right? And I had to celebrate every little win.
Yeah.
I think that was a lesson in itself too, that like every little thing can be a win. It just depends on how you look at it. But for me, I think the day where everything changed was I stopped feeling sorry for myself. I stopped the victim mindset and I said, what can I do with this? What can I make of it? What opportunity can come out of this? Kind of like what you said earlier about like, okay, you can't run anymore, but this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity to try something new and build this, build a new skill set. And maybe I'll love lifting more than I love running. And I'll,
and
I never go
I want to meet this girl. Right? I love her.
Yeah. So I started to see the opportunity to, okay, I'm in bed. What am I going to do with it?
Yes.
Right. And so that's when
you took your power back.
Yes.
That is because when you have that victim, sorry, not to interrupt you, but it makes me so excited to say, like, when you have that, when you said you had that victim mentality, that why is this happening to me? Why you have no power in that.
Yeah.
You have given up every ounce of your power. And
this girl likes control.
Tell me about it. Ditto. But it's one of those things where but in that moment, okay, you can't control everything, but you can control a lot.
You can control your mindset. How you choose to see the situation.
What are you going to do about it? And how did that serve you?
So that shift took place when, by the way, I had to decide that I was not going back to education after, conversations with my doctor who said, this is the second time it's happened. We don't know if you're going to come back from a third time. We don't know what this is going to look like, because you have to understand, it wasn't just that the physical, okay, my joints are swollen and killing me, right? Or I'm out of breath and fatigued. It was my heart palpitations. Every body system was affected by this, right? And so being told, you will never run, right? You, by the way, that's what led to the second bed rest, is because I was training for a half marathon, because I said, screw you, I will run.
Oh, so you're a lunatic. I love that about you. Please, everybody listen to your doctors. I love this about you.
Don't tell me I can't do something. I'm doing it now. That was that.
Yes.
And I overdid it. So, when they said the cycle is going to continue, you have to reduce stress levels, because when your stress increases, your immune system is weakening and the Lyme is going to continue to come back. I have chronic Lyme. So I still have it right now, sitting here today. And so talk about balance being important. But I received this message from Larry Moss about what he saw in me and my ability to help people grow and to focus my energy and talents just in a different capacity, right? Okay, you're not going into leadership and education. You're not going to be an administrator or a superintendent like you thought you were going to be, but how can we take what you were doing and still have an impact, but with greater control and flexibility in your schedule? And so he is the one that recommended that I go in this direction. And he told me about the Maxwell Leadership Program, because this girl isn't doing anything without a certification and an education to back it. It's just the way I am.
God bless you. You're better than half the crazy people on the internet who are trying to sell nutrition programs. Thank you for doing that.
Yes. So that's what I did on bed rest. I learned every single day. I was excited to wake up, and what am I going to learn from Papa John today?
And now you own your own business.
Yes.
Like, that is, if that's not a rags to riches story, then I don't know what is. It's taking the worst thing that's happened to you, by your own account, saying the worst, and I mean truly the worst, and then making it into something that not only makes you happy, but serves other people. Yeah. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's huge.
Thank you. That's why I did that episode on resilience. So those that didn't listen to episode 3, I talked about 5 areas where I have had some really intense struggles in life. And I think that each of them made me bounce back stronger than ever before, to the point where then I'm able to make it through that next obstacle, right? I don't know what's next. Just this, like you said earlier, this could be taken away at any time, right?
Try not to think about that too much.
Yeah. I try not to. And I had plenty of health scares in the last couple of months, and I had literally like 10 things go wrong all at once with my health. And my approach to it this time was very different than the last time. So the last time I was consumed by it. It all weighed on me all at once. And I said, nope, I'm going to look at each of these as individual issues, and I am going to decide on that first next step that I can take, the one thing I can control in that area, and just resolve these one at a time.
Yes.
Right? And that's what I did. And I'm down to one issue.
Hey!
Down to one.
That's beautiful.
But that is the only way I kept my sanity through it all, because I always kind of equate it to like walking a tightrope for me. Okay. And if I lose my balance and I don't get enough sleep, or I just overdo it physically, and this is what you need to know, Coach Jess, as you tell me, come to my gym, this girl likes to push herself and prove I can do things that even I don't think I can do, but I'm going to show myself anyway, and I will make myself sick doing it.
Something that we tell people when they walk into our gym, because it is a group fitness community, and group fitness automatically comes with comparison. We do not put it in the air. We do not talk about it, but it's there because you can't avoid it. And I'm not going to pretend like you just close your eyes and work out and you don't see other people and it doesn't. And also, that's kind of the fun, is it scratches that itch of like, ooh, let's go. But what we preach to everybody who walks in that door is you check your ego at that door. I do not care about the endurance. I mean, I care. Don't get me wrong. But in that moment, as your coach, I do not care about the high school football player that you were. I do not care about the endurance runner that you were. I care about the person that's walking in my gym right now. Yeah. At this stage in your life, what is best for you right now? Do I want to get you to that next phase of your life where you're doing that next great thing and you're doing that next great physical feat? Absolutely. But we cannot do that if we do not address who you are in this moment, and love that person right now and do what's best for her right now. Because if you come in, is it easy to get all half-cocked crazy and go wild? It's easy.
Oh, yeah.
I see people do it all the time because they come in and they don't know how to check that ego at the door. I've seen it countless times.
Yeah.
But we encourage it. And we say, hey, be who you are right now. Love who you are right now. Will we get you to the place where you can do the things that you're dreaming of doing? Yes. But let's do it in a way that's safe. And that we preach safety. We preach being able to take those little steps before you take the big steps. And it's being able to maintain your health, because why are we here if we're going to leave you feeling worse than when you came in?
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Yeah. That's a good point. Well,
so with that,
that's comforting. No, it's good to know, because I almost need someone. I don't need someone pushing me. That's not my problem at all. I push myself too much. I need someone to reel me in and remind me what my body is actually capable of right now and hold me to the baby step, because even though I know I can't run right now, that was the problem, is I'd still go out and run and I would end up laying on the ground in someone's yard dying because, my heart rate jumps to 200 and I can't get it to come down, and I'm like, screw you, heart, I'm doing it anyway, right? I need someone to temper that.
Yeah, it's easy to run yourself 1,000,000 miles per hour into the ground. Yeah. But that's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's longevity. Yeah. I made a post the other day because I'm our social media director, which is another story completely. I should be no one's social media director. Good God. But I made a post the other day that we're just trying to make bad butt. I told her I wouldn't cuss. Bad 90-year-olds. And that's all I want. I want you to be the coolest, strongest, most amazing 90-year-old in the entire world. And how do we do that? By loving who you are right now and respecting and honoring who you are right now. And is running a half marathon respecting who you are right now?
It is not.
No, but
I don't like
it's fun.
saying it, but yes.
Yeah, but it's not.
Yes.
It's not respecting who you are right now. And, you know, that's a tough pill to swallow because, like I said, you know, what you had to endure and is a nightmare. It really is. It's awful to have your health taken from you like that. It should not be downplayed. It is, and your resilience is unreal. The fact that you want to keep going and you want to keep trying and you want to keep doing it, it really is a beautiful testament to your spirit. You have a beautiful spirit.
You have a beautiful spirit. Thank you. You inspire me. Seriously, we talked before we got on here about who I'm choosing to have on the podcast, right? And you were one of the first people that I thought of.
Really?
I knew, yes, because before I even knew the full story of what led you to 540 Fitness, you inspired me the day you walked into the First Leadership Academy. So, okay.
Well, I hope I don't disappoint you.
Never. You could never disappoint me.
No, I'm really proud of you for doing this. This is all, you know, and knowing you have a gift of seeing people and seeing the good in people. You have a gift, and what makes you a great leadership coach. It's what makes you so good at your job is you see the best in people, and you see people's, even their, I don't want to call them faults, but even their quirks, even their things as gifts, and you use them as strength, and you help them learn how to use them as strengths. And you're not a leadership coach who just reads out of a book and tells people, this is what the book tells me to say. You actually you take the time to know people, and you take the time to learn them so that you can lead them in the best way. And that's rare, and that's hard to find, because most people will anyone can read you anything out of a leadership book and tell you that this is the next best thing to do.
Yeah.
But if they don't know you, and you don't know my quirks and my weirdness or my gifts, not even my quirks and my badness, if you don't know my gifts, then how do you teach me to properly use them?
Yeah.
And you do that. You do a really good job of that.
Thank you. It's the same thing that you're doing, and getting to know your people and what their needs are and what is reasonable for them at that stage of their life too. It's no different, you know, just a different area of life. But thank you. That means a lot.
Us together, girl. We make like a whole human, complete person.
We do.
You get the brain, I get the body. We could change some lives, girl. We could change some lives.
You already are.
You are, that's why we're here.
Yes, it's why we're here.
We don't show up because we have all the answers, but
I know. I need your help.
I'd love to help you.
Okay. Thank you.
I'd do anything for you.
Thank you. Same here. I want to know where people can find you and 540 Fitness. How can they get involved?
Yeah.
I also want to know, for the listeners that don't live in the 540.
Sorry. We love it here. You should move.
Yeah, you really should. How they can still benefit from what we've talked about today.
Awesome. So we are 540 Fitness. You can find us on Facebook. It's 540 Fitness. And I run that social media page. So if it's terrible, you can blame me, but I'm doing my best. And I'm always in the gym with a camera. I'm like, just, hey, smile. You give me a little flex. You're doing great. And they hate me. But it's, so you can find us there. If you do not live in this area, we do also offer remote programming. So that is something that my husband does. He is the brains of the operation, and he is brilliant. He's brilliant. And so if you are stuck in your fitness journey and you don't know what to do, you're stuck in a rut, we can help you. If you need insurance, you can find me at TWG Insurance. I am the personal lines team's lead there. So I do auto, umbrella, and home, and life, and all of the things that you need to be a complete person. And I care just as much about my clients there as I do about my fitness people. If you're in my life, I care about you. And that's true.
That is 100% true.
Yes.
I believe that. And then also, so kind of connecting, because when I talk about branching out, we're of course looking at all areas of the wheel of life, and I'm having folks come in and really speak in their area, right? And so you're talking a lot about health today, but you're talking about health and your ability to be more impactful also as a leader or in your professional life because of how you're taking care of your body, right? I want to make sure we solidify the connection between the two.
Yes.
So if you could leave everybody with one little tidbit, just one little tidbit about how their health and fitness can impact their ability to lead their life and lead others effectively, how do you want to close that out?
I think that if I could leave everybody with one little thing to chew on, it's you only get one of these. One life, one body. I think that my story is a testament to that. It's, I had a beautiful husband and a beautiful marriage, and we did not take care of our bodies. That's the truth. And, could things have been different if we did? I don't know. And I try not to go down that road because that's a dangerous road to go down. But the work and the things that you're working so hard on don't mean, just like your dad said, it doesn't mean anything if you don't have your health. So do it to be the best boss that you can be. Do it to be the best person that you can be. Do it to be the best parent, the best sister, the best brother, because it is... if you do not have that as a firm foundation of your life, then everything else will kind of not be there.
Yeah.
So
you will have nothing.
So love yourself. Love yourself, man. Take care of yourself and love yourself by honoring yourself.
It's a great piece of advice. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Of course. So I always do a branching out challenge, and I think it's always pretty obvious what I'm going to ask people to do. So based on what we talked about today, I want to give them a challenge to just take that first next step, whatever it is. If it is walking around the building, if it's standing up at your desk, having a stand-up desk before just always sitting down, whether it is going on that walk that you talked about, or if it's popping into 540 Fitness.
I recommend that one. But
I recommend that one too, with a little pizzazz in there.
Yeah.
But figure out what that first next step is and choose to love your body and let us know. That's what we want to know.
We want to know.
We want to know what you're choosing to do. So, I don't know how this podcast is impacting others unless they share it, right? It's so often that we question, like, is anybody actually listening to this?
Is anybody out there? Is this thing on?
Yeah. So let us know if you do have a takeaway, if you do take advantage of the branching out challenge for that episode. Let us know what you're doing, how it's impacting you. My gut tells me that if someone chooses themselves and their body for 1 week consistently, 1 week, and reports back to us any changes in energy levels, mindset, impact on the people around them, the relationships, their level of patience with the people around them, whatever it is,
that's a totally
right?
different story.
Right?
Yes.
I know, I'm going to say this, I know for a fact people will see a difference in that first week. We want to hear about it.
I totally agree. Yes.
Okay.
And just that integrity with yourself. Keep your promises to yourself.
Yes.
If you tell yourself, if you're listening to this right now and you're saying, yeah, I'm going to do that. This is my challenge, is to do it.
Yes.
What if you didn't lie to yourself this time?
Yeah.
What if?
Yeah.
Just do it. And it's that easy.
I can't wait to hear what people do.
They're going to do great.
I think
I'm
it's
so
going to be
proud
amazing.
of them.
I am
Gosh,
too.
So proud of them.
I love each and every person listening.
Me too.
Do. And I know you do.
I do. I do. They're all my best friends. If you need a best friend, come find me.
Okay, so thank you so much for being here, Jess. It means the world to me that you took time out of your weekend in between your exercise and birthday party to be here with me. It really does mean the world. And I know that I've said to you that I'm going to pop into your gym. I'm going to.
Now it's recorded. It's going to happen.
Yes. We just need to have a conversation about the timing of it.
And that's
I'm gonna make it happen. But thank you.
Thank you. No, thank you. I really appreciate this.
Of course. Of course. All right, so we need you to share with us what value you found in today. Share the episode with someone else that you want to listen to this. If you heard something that resonated with you and you want to share it with the people in your life that you love, we would love to see that. Make sure you subscribe so that you get notifications when these come out. If you don't already know, it is every Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time on Spotify and YouTube, and then all of the other platforms the following day, so Saturday. And please give us feedback. So until next time, keep branching out.
Woo!